Good evening. Good evening. Happy Saturday. Come on in. Come on in. We have some things to get into this Saturday. Come on in, like, share, and subscribe. Listen, we're going to talk about some things. Per usual, we're going to have some people in their feelings, but guess what? It's okay. It is okay. Another day in the life of Chic Speaks on it. Let me see. Come on in. Like the video as you come on in. Let me try to... Let me see. I want to get a poll together. Come on in. Come on in, boys and girls. Come on in. What's up, roller skater? Come on in. You say you scared. Come on in. Y'all know we gets into it over here. The boys and the girls be in their fields, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'm not new to this. What, child? I am true to this. I am true to this. The world is very scary. This is America. Someone did a comment, on my video yesterday. And y'all, a lot of people like respond, like be very active in the chat. But it's not that often people like do, comments once I post. But someone was like upset about the information that, I shared. And I'm like, baby, listen, sis, this is America. This is America. No lies are told over here. Ever, ever. Never, ever, ever, ever. No lies are told over here. Let me see. Come on in. Come on in. Like the video, like, share, and subscribe. All right, boys and girls, come on in here. Make sure you complete the poll. I just put a poll out there. I want to know. I'm trying to see something. Complete the poll. Go ahead. Get the poll popping. What's really going on? What is really going on? Because folks changing it up right now. People like, listen. When it was time to get that vote, listen, we want to see everything. Those Democrats are holding out. Biden's on that list. The Obamas, Michelle and Barack. Michelle, aka Michael, and Barack are on that list. Y'all, this is what the Republicans was saying leading up to the election. Listen. Y'all know good and dang well it was a different tune not too long ago. I'm trying to see something. Because I have come across some old posts of VP JD Vance. And JD, y'all know, I don't know, if some of y'all may not know, JD didn't always like Trump. Like, he used to doggone sneak this, and like, he did not like that man. And I've heard him speak on it. He did not like him. he didn't like that man back when back when I didn't even like him. I think it was like the 2016 time when he voted. He didn't like Trump. It might even been as recent as when he ran 2020 when he didn't like him. So he probably jumped on the Trump train way even after I did. But but JD did not like Trump. I've heard him speak on it. But I want to share some old tweets and things that he had, that what he said as far as pertaining to the Epstein files, because folks playing crazy today. Folks like, it ain't damn nothing to see. It ain't nothing to see. If it was something to see, we'll put it out there. It ain't nothing to see. So what y'all think? Complete the poll. We're going to get into that. Them Democrats finally got a chance to tour that damn establishment, Alligator Alcatraz. I want to play a clip. There was one of the detainees. I don't know what his name, but we going to call him Juan. Juan said these damn mosquitoes are as big as elephants. Sheik, you need to talk about it. These mosquitoes are big as elephants. They ain't giving no repellent. They ain't doing nothing. They ain't letting us go outside. And I got worms in my food. I got worms in my food, Sheik. Somebody need to come and do a jailbreak, because this ain't it. This is not it. This ain't it. So I'm going to share what that man had to say. And then them Democrats, they went over there to see something. Y'all seen what a couple of weeks ago, they were trying to get a tour and they were stopped at the gate. But you know who wasn't stopped at the gate? Damn Kona Ice. How many of y'all know what Kona Ice is? Y'all know they had food trucks. Why am I learning that they had food trucks on day one of the opening? Y'all know how you have like a little grand opening and celebration or whatever? I seen a video today where they had food trucks that day, Kona Ice. So them folks had to release a statement talking about why the hell they was rolling up in that establishment, why they was coming through with the frozen ice with the strawberry, blueberry, pineapple, pina colada flavor. They talking about, listen, we didn't know that it was centered around politics. Where the hell how you ain't knowing? you driving Kona Ice. You know good and damn well you ain't never drove a Kona Ice into no damn airport with some damn alligators and snakes. We not finna do this, Kona Ice. We not finna do this. We not doing this, Kona Ice. Just stand 10 toes down and say shit. We trying to make a coin. It's hot outside. Them people called on us and said we want some Kona Ice, and we said bet. So we got some things to talk about. Listen, don't argue with me. Argue with your mama. So today it's going to be no different than any other day. We're going to get into some things. We're going to talk about the foolishness, the madness. And so in the meantime, make sure you complete the polls, because we finna get all up into JD business to see what he had to say prior to him becoming the VP of the United States. So let's go ahead and flip this screen. We about to see something. Y'all see this? We on Yahoo News. Y'all be like, well, Cheek, where the hell you getting this from? We getting this from yahoo.com. So if you want to follow along, boys and girls, go to yahoo.com. Welcome, everyone. Like the video. Double tap the screen. We about to get into some things. So prepare yourself. We are like on the stand. We doing the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. We gonna be on that type of time today, per usual. This is how we roll on any other day. So listen, come on in. JD Vance's old Epstein tweets are coming back to haunt him in a big way. They were like, JD, you about to get this work too, because we know they've been coming hard for Pam Bondi and what's that name? Dan Bambino, what the hell? Bambino, whatever the hell his name is. Y'all know they've been coming hard for that man. So they like, JD, you about to get this work too. So we about to see what JD said. What that man had to say. What'd he say? It goes on to say, come on, let me see. Can y'all see? This is what we about to read from. Vice President J.D. Vance is being called out on social media as he previously urged his followers repeatedly to demand answers surrounding the death of the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, only for his own administration on Sunday to conclude The matter closed. Y'all, these are the words of the U.S. VP. If you are an American citizen, these are the words of your VP. Come on now, somebody. Y'all do that poll. Who lying? Who lying? JD, like, what the hell? What is you talking about? What is you talking about? We trying to see something. The Democrats ain't the only one trying to see something. I'm trying to see something too. What's really going on? What's really going on? Let's get it. Like the videos, you come on in. Epstein died in Manhattan jail cell in 2019 while awaiting trial on federal sex trafficking charges. His ties to prominent figures, including President Donald Trump. Y'all see that? Y'all, we ain't making up ish over here. Former President Bill Clinton. So we done already did a check mark next to a Republican and a check mark next to a Democrat. So what's really good? What's really good? We got check mark Republican, check mark Democrat. Bill Gates have spawned rumors of client lists and alleged blackmail material. Child, so what's the holdup? Because back when it was underneath the Biden administration, when they had the files, everybody was hollering, oh, they ain't releasing it because of names of the Democrats been on that list. Obama's been on that list. The Clintons been on that list. Biden's been on that list. So now that we've moved into the Republican administration, the Republicans like, all right, then come on, let's release the list. Let's release the list. And today the Republicans are like, oh, there is nothing to see over here. Huh? What do you mean? What do you mean? That's not what you were saying before when the Democrats had the files. So now that you got the files, it ain't nothing to see. Okay, it's giving suspicion. Like this is I'm talking about. Y'all over here, we talk about it in a way that I promise you nobody else is going to talk about it. Because I don't have any ties. If you ain't came to real life, let me show y'all what I look like. This is what I look like. I have no ties to these folks. Fox, CNN, MSNBC, y'all, I'm classified, child. I'm underground. I'm not collecting a check from, listen, my check gonna come if y'all watch damn videos. Otherwise, I'm gonna talk my talk. I'm going to talk my talk, and it's going to be based on truth. I don't know how them other folks roll, but y'all see how they rolling. Folks playing crazy like they ain't hear that man, this is what them people was talking about. But that's all right, because y'all know Chic Speak's going to be on it. So let's get it. Let's look at this mugshot. This is Jeffrey Epstein. This is that man who his side piece, his chick, his partner in crime, Ghislaine Maxwell, y'all, she out somewhere doing time for trafficking. Who the hell, what, if there is no list in those clients, who were the young girls, the young women getting trafficked to? So it was just between them two? Like, really, y'all think about it, because we're going to use common sense over here. If she was found guilty for trafficking, wouldn't there be some clients somewhere? Because when you're like, just think about just even the Diddy trial. Like and they was trying to get him on RICO and trafficking. The trial consists of Diddy, the women, what we had, the Jane Doe, the Cassie Ventura, and then we had third parties. The third parties was the male prostitutes. Where is the third party with the Jeffrey Epstein case? Remember, we got trafficking. Where is the third party? The third party is going to be what? The client, right? Where is that person? Oh, that's who they saying don't exist. Well, why the hell that woman locked up? Is she about to get out? What is she locked up on? Because it ain't no trafficking if it was just, okay, you going out, you getting girls in, it's just Ghislaine and Jeffrey. And then the girl, I don't know what you call that. That's just what we doing. That's just predatory behavior. That's not trafficking. Like, that's just predatory behavior. But when that woman, like, she was hit with something sitting around some trafficking or some shit. I don't know, y'all. We about to get into it. Come on here and like this damn video. Come on. Quote, remember when we learned that our wealthiest and most powerful people were connected to this guy who ran a literal child sex trafficking ring? Vance wrote in 2021. Y'all, that was not too long ago. We only in 2025. 4 years ago. And then that guy died mysteriously in jail, and now we just don't talk about it. So how folks had common sense prior to July 2025? Everybody had all the damn common sense in the world to know damn well that there's somebody, some list, some damn where. Because in order to operate a trafficking ring, run a business, you need clientele, right? We not finna play. You don't need your LLCs to understand this, y'all, over here. You do not need to have an LLC. I repeat, you do not need to have an LLC to understand. What's up, Pearl? To understand what the freak is going on over here. There's going to be clients if you have trafficking. We will get into what Ghislaine Maxwell, what she was charged with. There had to be some third-party people named in that. But come on, let's move on. J.D. Vance. This is a tweet. This is a post he made September 4th, 2021. Remember when we learned that our wealthiest and most powerful people were connected to a guy who ran a literal child sex trafficking ring? Question mark. And then that guy died mysteriously in jail, and now we don't want to talk about it? Stop playing crazy. JD back then was like, listen, what we not finna do, we not finna play crazy. I don't have all this education. I don't have all this education to act like I don't damn know what the freak is going on. We not finna do that. FBI Director Kash Patel and Deputy Director Dan Bongino previously suggested powerful people had Epstein killed to keep their connections to him a secret. Makes sense to me. Remember, y'all, we common sense over here. If y'all new to this over here, welcome. Y'all, my commentary is literally just based on common sense, discernment, all the ish that really don't require you to go out and get all these damn student loans and shit for advanced degrees. Y'all, I got that too. But I promise you, my commentary isn't heavily rooted in that shit. But I got that too. I got all the boxes checked, okay? The duo reversed course after joining Trump's administration, stating they believe Epstein died by suicide. So suddenly, common sense then went out the damn window because now that you are part of the Trump team, where they do that at? What's really going on? What is really going on? You just suddenly just lost all your scruples and common sense just went out the window. Less than 2 years ago, Kash Patel was ranting about the FBI hiding the Epstein list. Now he's in charge of the bureau and he says it doesn't exist. Oh, okay. And y'all know who yelling it, who sending that message hard? This content creator right here. This Benny guy right here. Oh, Benny Johnson. He like, listen, y'all, listen, boys and girls, there's nothing to see. There's nothing to see. Oh, yes, the hell it is. It's plenty to see. It's plenty to see because y'all working too hard to convince the American people that there's nothing to see. So the harder you work to try to convince the people that they're crazy to try to play in, we call that playing in my face. Stop playing in my face. Y'all, if y'all know what that means when somebody say you playing in my face, when somebody says you playing in my face, that means that you're trying to act like what I see, I don't see. You're trying to convince me that the sky is green and it's not blue when I know damn well it's blue and you know it's blue, but you sitting up here looking me dead in my face trying to tell me it's green. That is what that's what it means when you play in somebody's face. They're trying to play in our face, and the more that they do it, you all, the more it's pissing the American people off, especially the Republican Party. The Republican Party right now are so heated right now. They are so upset right now because they caped for Donald J. Trump. They pushed this message. Yes, y'all need to vote for this man to get him in the office because Donald J. Trump is the truth. Donald J. Trump, he stands 10 toes down, not some of the time, all the freaking time. That was the message I heard. Donald Trump is always here to put that work, to slap that work down. Listen. Don't start none, won't be none. That's what you get from Donald J. Trump up until it comes to these Epstein files. Even when he first took office his second term earlier this year, they came out the gate already. We ain't forgot about them Epstein files. We seen Pam Bondi out there hollering, yes, I got them on my desk now. I'm gonna reveal them on a Thursday, y'all. I can remember down to the day of the week she said that she was going to release them on a Thursday. I got y'all. They on my desk right now. Okay, so what the freak was on the desk back at the top of the year in February that's no longer on the desk in July? Y'all don't want to know who really blew up the whole spot? Elon. Elon is really, y'all, the one who got it on the popping, because really low key, people kind of had moved around. People were still kind of sitting on the sideline asking questions and things, like having water cooler talk, but nobody was like in the media really kind of going hard at the administration, forcing them to kind of pick back up on what they said at the top of the year. But when Elon dropped this and got on his on X and said, y'all want to know why y'all ain't seen that list and how y'all likely probably ain't gonna see the list, because yours truly is on the list. People like, well, damn. All right, then, well, nuck if you buck. But Trump, what you got to say about that? Because the only thing you can combat that is by releasing the files, right? To show you a mother effing lie. Because really, to me, the only card you can play coming off of what Elon did is the card of actually showing the list. That was followed up with, don't argue with me, argue with your mama. That would have been the only play that President Donald J. Trump would have had. But he didn't do it. They hoped that it would go away. Did y'all see Trump like a week ago saying, y'all still talking about that? Y'all, they so badly want it to go away. It's not going away. Player, this is what you ran on. You ran on it shit like, y'all about to see something. Y'all better vote for me. If y'all want to see this motherfucking list, y'all best to vote for me. That's the only way y'all finna see this list. Vote for me today. Donald J. Trump. Y'all, that his people, his pushers, they was like, yo, y'all need to vote for this man. This the truth. He about to lay it all out. He about to listen to this illegal immigration. We about to get that taken care of, these Epstein files. What's your grievances? Whatever your grievances are, Donald J. Trump got you. You say you need you a job? I think Donald got you. You need you a job. Donald got you. You saying gas too high, them eggs too? Donald J. Trump got you. Anything you wanted to hear, any problems you had, Donald J. Trump had the solution. Y'all know, Donald ran on it. He was like, listen, I don't talk about it, I be about it. I'm about to do what Sleepy Joe was not doing, and I was in line talking about bet. Vote Donald J. Trump. Sure did. I sure did vote for his goddamn ass shit. Donald was talking the truth. Kamala wasn't saying ish, and when she was saying ish, she was talking yin yang, talking about cleaning collard greens in the bathtub, talking about smoking weed, listening to Tupac when she was at Howard University, when Tupac music wasn't even out. Listen, just selling wolf tickets. Kamala was selling wolf tickets. So I said, then I know who the freak I ain't voting for. So I voted for Donald. Donald was talking about something. The world was effed up. The economy was effed up. Joe was just struggling just with life, period. Falling up, going up the stairs, falling off of bicycles. Y'all seen it. I ain't the only one that's seen how he was rolling out here in these U.S. streets. It was a whole entire mess as the Democrats tried to convince the American people that they were not seeing what the freak they were seeing as we watched this man decline. That's what I call playing in your face. When they gaslight you, play in your face. Try to make you feel like you crazy when it's like, nah, bro, you crazy. Let's continue on in this article as these same people today that's trying to play us, but not too long ago, had all the common sense and discernment in the freaking world. In the world. Y'all, these aren't idiots who are part of the Trump administration. These aren't idiots, you all. Trump is not even an idiot, but they try to play you. Folks will play you. Y'all know folks will play you. Y'all know people will play you if you allow them to, but guess what? We don't do that over here. The American people like, F you. What you're not finna do is play in my face. Vance was just as adamant in suggesting powerful figures colluded with Epstein, only for the Justice Department and FBI to announce Sunday that they did not find the incriminating list he was rumored to have, prompting Vance's old post to resurface. Vance, I'm going to need for you to step to the front of the congregation. Sir, you got some splaining to do. Now, what he has said What's possible? What possible interest would the U.S. government have in keeping Epstein clients secret? Oh, he wrote in X in 2021 before doubling down in another post. If you're a journalist and you're not asking questions about this case, you should be ashamed of yourself. Y'all, I ain't nobody journalist, but I'm a content creator. Y'all, this is just common sense. You don't need no advanced degrees. Your last name don't need to be Vance or Trump or Musk to be asking these questions. As I say over here, smart people ask questions. We ask questions over here. We ask questions. Y'all, this ish ain't that deep. A lot of times in this effed up world, they try to make it deeper than what it is and act like you don't know what the hell you talking about when you know you see ish is effed up in these American streets, in these U.S. streets. We see it. We see it. But just because you don't call a thing don't mean it ain't a thing. We call it out over here. It's just effed up. It's effed up. It's effed up. What else J.D. Vance has said? What possible interest will the U.S. government have in keeping the client's list a secret? Oh, Jack Posto says, are you paying attention yet? The DOJ and Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyers have made a deal that her little black book of contacts will never be made public. Interesting. So that goes to say that there is a list, because if you're saying it's not going to be made public, that means it exists. That means that there's something, it exists, right? There's clients. How do you have a trafficking ring or situation and no clients? That makes no sense, y'all. Like, think about it. Like, y'all, this issue ain't that deep. Epstein was accused of victimizing dozens of women. Did any of y'all see that documentary? Was that on Netflix? That special where the young women talked about their experiences. I think one of them women, she came up unalived. I don't know, she got hit by a bus or something some months back. But she was one of the ones seen in a picture with one of the people from the royal family. Not quite sure which family member, but y'all know what I'm talking about. She was, the Prince Harry and them, all of them, one of their cousins or something like that. She was in a picture with one of the family members. And I don't even think she with us anymore. I think, like I said, I think she got hit by a bus. That's a hell of a way to get up out of here. But listen, she's not with us anymore. She's not with us anymore. But I remember her picture being one of the pictures floating around, and I believe she was in that documentary. I think it was on Netflix. So y'all can look it up. It was like the documentary centered around Epstein. It was deep. It was deep. So if you can try to find that, definitely look into that. Andrew, thank you, Screw Hans. Andrew. It was a young girl in a photo. She was like, yo, that was me. She was like a Model-S, little, skinny, thin, white girl, kind of small, real small frame, smaller than Melania look in this picture. Small little frame, dainty little white one. She was young. She said she was a young girl. She was a young girl in that photo. I think she said she was maybe like 15. She looked young in the photo. Let's carry on. Elon Musk appeared to irreparably damage his reputation with the president in June by claiming Trump is in the Epstein files. Y'all, that's what's got it set off, Trump. I said, I bet you they go to bed cussing his ass. Every night they be cussing his ass. They didn't probably put some roots on them and everything. They didn't reached out to the Haitians like, listen, I'm gonna need for you to do some work for me. I'm gonna need for you. We ain't gonna round you up. We're gonna hold off the ICE agents, but I'm gonna need for you to do some work for me, because it's Elon over here. He tap dancing on my last damn nerve. Haitians, I'm gonna need for you to put that work in for me. Attorney General Pam Bondi said in February that the list was sitting on my desk right now to review. Y'all, I remember when she said that. Y'all remember I would be covering, if y'all like day ones, like been around for a minute, as I cover this political content, I would talk about it in my car when my baby girl would do soccer, and I'd be like, y'all, Pam, like, yo, Thursday, I got y'all. Y'all, Thursday came and went. She called herself doing cussing Patel out for not getting her the full. Child, it was a mess. Now we see it was a whole act. They had no intent on releasing these files. They was just playing in our faces. But listen, this is what they do. Pam Bondi in February. The Epstein client list is sitting on my desk right now to review. Pam Bondi today. There is no Epstein client list. No further disclosure of Epstein-related material would be appropriate or warranted. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. Let me see what this what my poll looking like. Let's see what the poll looking like, y'all. So I said, why will the Trump admin not release the Epstein files? 49% said Trump is named in them. Let's look at this. Democrats and Republicans, 37% say demos and Republicans are named in them. And 14% says there is no list. There is no list. So listen, that's where we are. So almost half of us believe that, listen. Here's my thing. I feel like on the list, it's a combination of reputable names for just all the parties that exist. Whether you associated with whether you part of the Bloods or the Crips. I feel like there are prominent people who are just in general on that list, including actors and politicians, celebrities, politicians. And it's just enough to just really just mess the American people up. Like, y'all, we already know, y'all, it's something about knowing that the type of time that we know that the American people and politicians and people in Hollywood are capable of, but to see the receipts of it, I think that kind of is what takes it to a whole nother level. Kind of like with going back to the Diddy trial where the receipts and things like that was presented. Like, we knew that Diddy was on some other type of time, but to see the receipts, it's just like, oh my God. And I think that's what's the deal with the situation is with these Epstein files. It's like, any thoughts and ideas that can run through our mind is plausible, but to see it in black and white, to see the receipts, there's no going back from that. There is no going back from that. So I think they just were like, you know what? We can't put this out there. We would rather allow the people to continue to speculate what they think is in them because likely they're right, but we're not going to co-sign it. I think that if we were to ever see these files, it will be as a result of a leak. Maybe WikiLeaks will release them, but it will be as a result of a leak, but not where there's someone like some politician intentionally releasing the list. I don't think that will happen. So back to the article. We are on yahoo.com. Welcome. Come on in. Double tap the screen. It's 225 of you in the building. Welcome. Double tap the screen. Like the video. We only got 53 likes. Like, share, and subscribe. However, on Monday, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, she ought to get tired of damn lying, argued that Bondi was referring to the case files related to Epstein rather than an actual list of alleged clients. Y'all, that is not true. The clip where Bondi was speaking to the news person about the list, they said, so you actually have the list of names on your desk? You have the list of names? Yes, they're on my desk as we speak. Wait, she wasn't talking in regards to complete files, the case files. The question was specifically centered around the list because the person was like in awe, like, oh snap, the day is here. This issue's real. You mean you got the list? Y'all seen that clip? You mean you got the list? Oh, girl, like, hey, yeah, popping her collar. It's on my desk right now. I'm that B. Listen, we don't talk about it. We about it. Y'all remember Pam had the energy. Yo, I remember doing commentary like, y'all don't F with Pam. Pam is like that. Y'all ever see that female that be like scary, look like she'll whoop a dude up? Like Pam is that woman. Like she even got the men. I think I heard Trump say, hell, Pam be scaring him sometimes. Pam coming with that energy. She said it with her chest that day. Oh, shit, what you think we came here to play? You think we came here to play games? That list is on my desk, sweetie. It is on my desk. Y'all, listen. We talked about it. Y'all stay tapped in. Follow me on this channel because I keep up with stuff. And I talked about it back during that time. I'm like, yo, Pam talking about, listen, Thursday. She was on that. I got you. Give me the Thursday. Give me the Thursday. I got you. How many Thursdays we done had since Black History Month? She was playing in our face, y'all, during Black History Month. She was playing in people's face during Black History Month. The Department of Justice accompanied Sunday memo with 10 hours of security footage showing nobody entering Epstein's jail cell on the date of the death, appearing to confirm prior reports that he died by suicide. The tape is reportedly missing an entire minute of footage. Y'all remember even back then when he died, I thought I had heard talks or people saying like there was no cameras or something that was working. Something about cameras wasn't working. Y'all know whenever suspect stuff go down and people start hollering, where the footage at? Where the footage at? And then the first thing you hear is that, oh, the cameras wasn't working. Conveniently, the cameras don't never work when it go down. Y'all know how it goes. When it goes down, get what's not working? The camera. But y'all know what do be working in today's time? Everybody got a Ring camera. We be catching all the business that pop off outside in these streets on our Ring camera. But when it comes into these establishments, these government offices, oh, the cameras, how you operate in a prison, a jail, or anything, and having devices, things like that, that's used to protect the population, the people, the fellow inmates, the workers, and your ish ain't working, your cameras ain't working. Make that make sense. But you taking all of this money from taxpayers talking about it needs to go to funding the local the jails and the prisons. But then when we trying to see something, oh, well, yeah, the cameras weren't working that day. Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's carry on. So we're going to let that sit there. Ghislaine Maxwell. So this is his woman, his piece is his woman, his whatever you want to call it. She was his everything. She right here, like they tried to make, say Cassie was Diddy's everything and all his shenanigans. Well, this was Epstein's everything. This Ghislaine, she's right now doing time in a federal prison for trafficking. But though it wasn't no clients. It wasn't no clients, but she locked up for trafficking. Okay, so then let's carry on. Many conservatives are condemning Patel and Bongino on social media for what they deem to be a dishonest reversal on Epstein's death. Vance is now receiving similar backlash as he has yet to react to the DOJ's findings. Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list, Vance said during an October appearance on the comedian Theo Von's podcast. Y'all, that we ain't even a year out yet. October, that was my birthday month. He was damn, so he had all the common sense in the world during the month of October. But now in July, it ain't nothing. And y'all, don't worry about y'all. I seen Caroline last week or maybe it would have been earlier this week, maybe on Tuesday, one of them days, trying to justify that missing minute, talking about how it's the norm with the video that it'll be a minute. Some damn shit. Y'all know one thing Caroline gonna do is she gonna try to make sense of these damn stories. I one time looked up to see how much this damn woman making. She didn't even, on that day, I think that was the day she didn't even have her cross on. If y'all are familiar with watching Caroline Levitt, one thing you're going to do, you're going to see Caroline up there with her gold cross on. Caroline said, all right, y'all want me to be up here telling these whoppers, well, I ain't going to hell. Well, I may go to hell, but I'm at least, I ain't going to go to hell as quickly if I'm telling, with wearing the cross. So I'm going to have to take this cross off. Caroline did not have a cross on when she was up there telling them lies. The cross was missing. The cross was not on that day. We will see coming into the next week if Caroline will have the cross on. If that cross ain't there, Caroline gonna be on like, listen, I guess we're lying here on out. So let me just go ahead and leave the cross at the crib. Let me just leave. Let me just leave. OP says she sure took it off. Yes, Caroline says, I might be going to hell, but I ain't going with gasoline draws on. Listen, maybe it's levels to hell, but I can't wear the cross while I'm up here damn lying. We will see if we see sis put that cross back on. OP says she just be lying on TV. She done got a mute. Caroline be lying. Like it's just what she do now. It's just what she do now. She like, shit, I think she make about 175,000. But is there enough money in the world to be up there on that platform looking crazy, having to justify the lies and the shenanigans? Like, I know that woman probably at home drinking. I don't know. But to me, I don't see how you don't. I don't see how you're a part of that administration and not be throwing them back, not be throwing them shots. I don't see how. I don't see how. I don't see how, because ain't no way that you're doing any of this ish with just a clean conscience, with a sober mind. Ain't no way. You cannot make me believe it. I don't know if she drinking, but goddamn it, it's given that she need a little something to get her through her day to day. Whatever that is, she need a little something. So let's go on. Someone said, from Sarah Longwell said, there's so much good content from these very serious people on the Epstein files from the before times. JD said, what possible interest would the U.S. government have in keeping Epstein's clients a secret? So let's talk about it. What he said that on July 7th. Okay. So, sir, there's all kinds of reasons to support why that may be. There's a lot. Could it be that there are names of prominent people on that list? I'm just saying, y'all, this ish ain't that deep. This ish not that deep. Don't do that. Don't do that. Nina Turner says, checking in on Mr. Vice President. Mr. Vice President, just checking in on him. Listen, these folks going through it. What they say, all money ain't good money. I wonder who right now, including Trump and his administration, wish that they can go back and be like, you know what, I'm going to sit this one out. I'm going to support whoever else maybe want this position, because, baby, when I say that this Republican Party is getting it handed to them, y'all, the Democratic Party wasn't even getting it handed to them like this. Biden wasn't even getting the business like this. This is on some type of stuff that I ain't never seen before in all my days, in all my 44 years of living. Like, I ain't never seen nothing like this. You cannot make this ish up, y'all. And guess what? It gets worse and worse. It gets worse and worse. When you think that a bigger lie / a bigger whopper cannot be told, baby. One thing that if you have not concluded to date is that you can never count Donald J. Trump out. Never count him out. Good, bad, or indifferent. You can never count that man out. As long as this man got breath in his lungs, he is going to come through and knock your socks off. He is going to come through and knock your socks off. Listen, he's coming with it. There's never a dull moment with this man. Another person posted, Mehdi Hussein said, listen, in 2021, J.D. Vance, the White House correspondent and Sunday morning host, listen to him and make sure you ask questions of him and Trump and Bondi as to why they haven't released the Epstein clients list, which Bondi said she had on her desk in February on Fox. So is the whole world crazy? Because listen, everybody is asking questions. Ma'am, we're only going by what you all put out there. The Trump administration put this out there. Hey, we're going to get down to the bottom of this. Yes, we got the list. Y'all remember they did the photo op where they had them people, were they content creators that was at the White House or something? They had these white folders. Like, what are we doing? How do we go from that to today? There's nothing to cease. If you don't got them stop playing, if you do not stop playing, I honestly think that this moment, this right here with this whole Epstein situation, this has really put the nail in the coffin when it comes to people backing as a collective the Republicans. I think this did it, y'all. This did it. This might have even messed it up for, let's just say, so Trump, he's already in his second term. Unless a new law is changed with him being able to be a third-term president, he's done. But, y'all, I don't see how JD can think that he can be on anybody's presidential ballot to be voted as the next president coming off of this. I don't think anybody in that administration could think that they can enter on somebody's ballot and think that they are going to get the vote. How do you come back from this? Because you've lost all credibility. You've lost all credibility. And y'all, Elon has gone on record of saying that, listen, he's going to put his money into anybody who's against. Look, he's created a third party, what he called the America Party. He's saying, y'all know he got long money. Elon money go longer than any of us are capable of counting. He got long money. Elon, that man went on record to say, to the day he's no longer with us, he is going to be fighting against that party, against all that they do. And he meant that doggone thing. He meant that. So I think anybody in the Republican Party who think that they trying to get them a little position coming off of this round, they might as well go ahead and put their boots in a closet. They might as well go ahead and actually, I think people who are running, you might want to be careful about having any of them endorse you. Because let's just say down the line, say Marjorie Taylor Greene, any of them Republicans wants to run for a seat, anybody that's a part of the Trump administration that's trying to endorse you, I don't think that's going to be the move. I don't think that that's going to be the move to publicly be connected to anybody who is a part of the Trump administration. I'm just saying, I don't think so. Because right now, what it's given is that they are liars and opportunists, and they will say whatever they need to say to get the vote. And we've seen other administrations do that before, but not on the level that we've seen here. We just gonna talk about it. Just say Wednesday. I don't think so either. Like, we're going to talk about it. Let me get through some of these comments. Welcome, y'all. Double tap the screen. Like the video. Listen, we talking about it. T. Davis says, them was some empty binders. Yes, they were empty binders. LD Caprio said they had a hidden list. Like, folks, like we ain't crazy over here. We are not crazy over here. We are not crazy over here. We use common sense and discernment. Gear Jabber said, I saw Nancy Pelosi at the island. OP said, every week we get something new. We listen, this is like a whole, like this could be a Tyler Perry series. Y'all know Tyler Perry be coming through with them shows, not even just Tyler Perry, any of them Hollywood shows centered around government. And a lot of times they be super popular. This ain't got nothing. Listen, the Oval ain't got nothing to do with the President Trump administration. Like, I wonder if they gonna y'all do a movie one day centered around all of this. They need to. They need to. Who would do the movie? Who would be the best person to do the movie that will cover it right? Because this right here, baby, when they say you can't make this ish up, you cannot. You cannot. No, you can't make this up. The Oval. Listen, the Oval ain't got the Oval, and that man talking about with Tyler Perry trying to get his cookies and all that, y'all. That don't even got nothing to do with what we got popping off in the Trump administration. I'm just saying, y'all, it goes down in the Trump administration, and not in a good way. Let's see where we leave off at. JD Vance says, if you're a journalist, you're okay. So we read that one. Let's see. Sophia Bush says, this didn't age well. This didn't age well. No, it did not. No, it did not. Larry the Cat says, oh, okay. Y'all, these people, listen, folks sitting on the sidelines with their popcorn, watching people in the Trump administration get eaten up. Like, y'all, it's an entire mess. It's an entire mess. Let me see. Let me check the update on this poll to see, listen, have the tides turned? Have the tides turned? We still at 49% say Trump name on that list sheet. Listen, I don't care how you slice it and dice it. His name on the list. 38% say, listen, all of them on the list. Democrats and Republicans. 13% say, Then Benny supporters that came over and said, sheet. Benny done told y'all it ain't no list. Benny done told y'all there is nothing to see over here. There is no list. There is no list. Y'all, lies and propaganda. I like to say lies and propaganda. Diddy oil dealer said, I don't care how you slice and dice it, that you used to owe me money for the oil that you bought from Diddy. OP said, to hear them talk on TV, you really have to have the patience to just listen. Child, I can't remember last time I watched TV. I don't watch TV. I'll tap in with these different main, news outlets to see what the hell they talking about. But I don't listen to just one. I kind of move around just to kind of get an idea of what do a temperature check, as they like to say, do a temperature check. But yeah, I mostly, the underground news. I call the underground news more of like those non-mainstream news outlets. Somebody like me, people who don't have ties to the deep state, the powers that be. That's what I like to call underground news, underground media. Silly Team said, I just saw this. What is happening? Everything is going down in these U.S. streets. Everything. Lies and propaganda. Lies and propaganda. But y'all know what else that they saying is lies and propaganda? This damn Alligator Alcatraz. Juan called his woman Teresa and said they doing us dirty over here. I'm at this camp over here. I've been over here and since Friday. They doing us dirty, baby, over here. Call the news. Call Sheik Speaks on it. Yeah, I need for you to spread the word that they doing us dirty over here. So I'm going to share something. It's a gentleman. I call him Juan. I don't know what his name is. We call him Juan. Juan said, listen, this right here, they on some bullish. Juan said they on some bullish. So let's see what Juan had to say about how it's popping off over there at Alligator Alcatraz. Listen up, y'all. Come on in. Double tap the screen. Like the video. Welcome. I hope you all are having a wonderful Saturday.
State still has not released the number of people being detained at the so-called Alligator Alcatraz, but for the first time ever, we're hearing from several men who are being held inside the facility.
NBC6 Politics reporter Hassel Bella live right now with what inmates are reporting this evening. Hassel.
Liamse Izquierdo is a self-described Cuban urban artist, says he's here legally, is a permanent resident, but last week he was arrested for a violent incident, and tonight he talks to us from inside that detention center. Liamse Izquierdo on the phone describing what it's like inside the so-called Alligator Alcatraz. Says he's been at the detention facility out in the Everglades since Friday. No water to bathe, he says. It's been 4 days since he showered.
Leo said we going to call him because he got some long damn name that you got to roll your tongue with. So we going to call him Leo. Leo said he been there for 4 days and he ain't had no bath. He said ain't no water. He been there for 4 days. Leo said it's some bullish. This is what he's saying, y'all. He's speaking Spanish. They translate, and I'm going to translate too.
400 people he believes are inside the facility. Only gets fed once a day, he says.
Leo said they're hungry. He said it's 400 of them in that facility, and they get fed once a day. And they ain't taking baths. So they funky in there. They funky and they hungry. That is a bad combination. To be funky and hungry. That's pretty much the story of people who homeless. But let's carry on.
And some of the food had worms. Detention center lights.
Leo said they got worms in the food. Trey said, I don't believe Leo. Trey said Leo a bald-faced lie. Leo lying. Leo said his ad, he just choosing to not hit no water. Trey said Leo is choosing to not hit the water.
Are on 24/7. The mosquitoes, he says, are the size of elephants.
Y'all wondering what the mosquitoes look like? Listen, Leo said they the size of an elephant. He said they big as hell. Leo, how big are the mosquitoes? The size of an elephant. That's all I can tell you, Sheik. They the size of a damn elephant. They bigger than my head, okay? They big as hell. Shit. I ain't used to all this.
Izquierdo's partner, Katia, says he's a permanent resident who was arrested last week. First taken to TGK, then to America.
Katia said, y'all need to spread the word, get my man out of here. I know he be out here, goddamn, doing the absolute most, but goddamn it, he don't deserve to be bitten by mosquitoes big as elephants. She can spread the word. Spread the word. I need my man home. I need him home. My name is Katia. My man name is Leo.
And finally to the Everglades facility.
Good morning, sir. You speak English?
No.
Here is Izquierdo in bond court last Thursday.
We're charged with aggravated assault with deadly weapon and battery.
The police report says it all has to do with a violent dispute with a tow company worker who was trying to repossess a jet ski. Now back to the call.
All right, so Leo said, listen, I got up in here. Somebody was trying to repossess the jet ski, and I just wasn't ready to let it go. Sometimes it just go down. I mean, listen, it happened. Katia said, listen, my man had his papers. But listen, it just happens. They tried to get the jet ski. I wasn't ready to let it go. And now I'm here at the Alligator Alcatraz. I'm here at the Alligator Alcatraz. I ain't had a bath in about 4 days. I'm hungry. They feed us once a day and it got worms in it. So we got to develop a palate for the liking of worms, because that's all we got around this camp. and damn mosquitoes the size of elephants. So this is what life is like over here. Spread the word, Sheik. Please spread the word.
Complaints they're not allowed to go outside and the tents are freezing.
No creo que eso sea de humano, tener a personas en esas condiciones.
Izquierdo's girlfriend says these are not humane conditions. Also on the call, we heard from...
Listen, Katia said this ain't humane. I know he should damn taken the jet ski back. God damn it. I mean, I know. Listen, we just needed it for one more day. He likes the jet ski. He really liked it. And I told his goddamn goofy ass to take it back, but he didn't want to take it back. So here we are. But still, my man don't deserve to get his ass ate up by mosquitoes the size of an elephant. Don't nobody deserve to be bitten up by mosquitoes. Child, listen.
From 3 other guys who had similar complaints. One, a Colombian national, says he's been there 3 days without his medicine. We've reached out to ICE, but a spokesperson says they cannot talk about detainees who are not in one of their facilities. Remember, the Everglades Detention Center is run by the state, but the state has not responded to our request for information.
So, folks, they're alleging that people ain't getting their medicine. So Trayla, Leo, he lying. Katia, she lying through her swollen lips. She lying too. Let's see who. Let's listen to what the demo. Y'all think the demo's gonna tell the truth? y'all think the demo's gonna tell the truth? Because they said they went up in there and they got to see something. The demos in Florida said, Leo ain't damn lying. Leo is not lying. This ain't Leo ain't lying. Do y'all want to hear what these demos had to say? Because they finally got their tour. Because remember, they was trying to get a tour about a week or two ago, and they were stopped at the gates. They were stopped at the gates, but they finally got granted their tour. And I'm about to get into what they got to say. Or will they co-sign what Leo had to say? Or will they say a Leo a ball effing lie? They are living like they are at the Holiday Inn. They are living like they're at the Holiday Inn. So Leo needs to have several seats. Let's see. We about to see what they got to say. Come on in here. Double tap the screen. Like the video. We seeing something today.
Florida's 25th Congressional District, South Broward, a little bit of North Broward, the port and the seaport. What we saw, the conditions that we saw inside this internment camp, which it is nothing less than that description, were really appalling. I'll walk you through just a few of the really egregious, disturbing, disgusting conditions. First of all, I want to talk about the establishment of this facility and make it very clear that we were directly told that the state was asked by the Department of Homeland Security to create a facility to detain ICE detainees. The governor decided directly, the governor directed FDEM, the Florida Division of Emergency Management, to put that facility they were requested to create by DHS here. So to put it anywhere, they decided to put it in the middle of the most brutal conditions in the middle of a swamp in the Everglades. Let's be clear, throughout this entire tour, it was repeated over and over that the state is working hand in glove with ICE. This facility was inspected by ICE. They reviewed their detention standards. They are using cages. These detainees are living in cages. The pictures that you've seen don't do it justice. They are essentially packed into cages, wall-to-wall humans, 32 detainees per cage. That is the only thing inside those cages are their bunk beds, and there are 3 tiny toilets that are toilet units that have a sink attached to it. So they essentially drink, they get their drinking water, and they brush their teeth where they poop in the same unit. They bragged that they went above standards, supposedly, and gave them a 3-foot privacy wall that stretches the length inside the 32 detainee cage. A 3-foot privacy wall that stretches the length of the 3 toilets in a row. The showers provide no privacy at all. There are no curtains on it. It's a big open shower unit. There are, small walls in each shower, but we're talking about all 900 men who are held in this facility. It is built currently for 1,000, and they have no privacy at all when they're showering. For meals, when we walked through the quote-unquote meal prep area, the kitchen area, for lack of a better term. The portion they had the portions that were available for detainees, and they had the portions that were available for employees being prepared at the same time. The portions available for employees, large pieces of roast chicken, large sausages, and the detainees' lunches were a small, gray turkey and cheese sandwich, an apple, and chips, and that's it. We're talking about fully grown men being fed very small portions. When many asked, about the nutrition standards, they say that they are utilizing state prison standards that have been approved by ICE. But I mean, when I went to Chrome on an unannounced visit, and I spent 3.5 hours walking through Chrome, went to every nook and cranny of Chrome, went in the kitchen, saw the meals being prepared. The meals being prepared for Chrome detainees were like the size, the portion and nutrition level, roast chicken, rice, beans, the size and portion levels and nutrition level that the employees get here. And they are I don't see how a large grown man at that, and there are many large grown men in this facility, I don't see how that could possibly sustain them nutritionally or not make them hungry. And when you have hungry people, obviously their mood changes. I brought a thermostat in with me, a manual thermostat. In the medical intake area, it was 85 degrees. This is inside the
Wow.
air-conditioned tent. In the area, they only let us go up to the entranceway of where they were housing the detainees. They would not let us even a step past the threshold. It was 83 degrees. That was without being all the way in with all of the bodies that were living inside that. The last thing I want to mention is environmentally. They have dug out reclaimed environmental areas and dumped fill on top of them. They say that means that they have not put fill anywhere that wasn't, quote, already developed, but these are, since the 1970s, reclaimed environmental areas, and we have, obviously, Everglades restoration funding coming through here. We could not meet with any detainees. They gave us no specific reason or authority why we couldn't. They refused us access and wouldn't even let us go into the dormitory where they were being encaged. So this is an appalling, outrageous environment to detain anyone. And lastly, they say that there are only people who are in the final stages of deportation here. We have doubts about that. We've heard that there are detainees here who are not criminals, but we're going to need to ask a lot of follow-up questions. So thank you so much. I'll turn it over to Congressman Soto.
What we saw in our inspection today was a political stunt, dangerous and wasteful. Evidence of flooding, floors that are only about 8 inches above the ground, temperatures that are hot, and you see the isolation here. Also wasteful. It probably cost double the amount to put this facility here versus right by Chrome. Which begs the question, why are they spending all this money for this? The director answered that he was not given a single reason why they chose this location. Not by the governor, not by the... And water has to be trucked into this facility. No running pipes. It makes no sense that this is here. And no ICE detainees have even been deported yet from this facility. We're in day 10. They have to be deported within 14 days. And so one can't help but understand and conclude that this is a total, cruel political stunt meant to have a spectacle and a political theater, and it's wasting taxpayer dollars and putting our ICE agents, our troops, and ICE detainees in jeopardy. En español, este es una chiste cruel, una situación muy peligrosa aquí en este cárcel. Hay inundación, es mucho calor, y ellos están usando dinero en una manera terrible. Ellos pueden tener una facilidad menos gastos en el próximo área de Chrome aquí. No hay agua, quien puede estar ahí necesita transportar ese agua y no hay deportaciones ya. La única razón por esta facilidad es para tener una chiste cruel por la comunidad hispana. And next we'll hear from Maxwell Alejandro Frost, my colleague from Portland.
Thank you, everybody. What we saw in there is very simple. We saw humans being held in cages. You heard it from Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz, 32 people per cage. 3 toilets in each cage for these 32 people, and their drinking water comes from the toilet. People are on the toilet, you can't drink water. What we also heard, there was so much ambiguity on under what authority people are being held here, and whether this is a state facility or a federal facility. They got state legislators out trying to claim it's a federal facility. Then perhaps they would try to keep us out today. It came unannounced saying it's a state facility. And what we heard very clear is ICE is giving them the directions from A to Z, where they put the beds, how everything is meant to be. So this is much like Baker in North Florida, where you have the state running this facility, but ICE is calling the shots. It is a federal detention facility, which means, and I'm really glad we were able to get this ironed out here, it means members of Congress are able to come here unannounced. And we will come here unannounced. Because, of course, like I said earlier today, a clean cage is still a cage. And they couldn't even keep this clean. I'll tell you, we couldn't even see the actual toilets that the detainees are using. Some of the biggest complaints we've heard is, yes, there's 3 toilets, but a lot of the time, only one is working. And they get backed up, feces being spread everywhere. And I asked them, I want to come in and I want to see the toilets. They said, we'll show you the toilets of a new unit that no one's in yet. That's not what I wanted to see. We wanted to see how it is right now, and we were unallowed to do it. Which means even with this invitation, so much was kept from us. We weren't able to see the medical facilities. They cited HIPAA, saying because of HIPAA, you can't see the medical facilities. Bullshit. We have done multiple ICE detention unannounced visits and been able to see the medical units. And why seeing the medical units are important is, of course, we want to know that the standard is high in case someone is having an issue. But also in many of these facilities, the segregation units and the isolation units are often the same units used for medical as well. We were unable to see those. Not just that, I also want to make sure I say this. There are so many attorneys across the country and across the state who have no idea how they can set up the appointments with the people that they're representing. I was given an email. It is legal@privacy6.com. They say if you email that, you'll be able to come here and see the person you're representing. That's what I was told by one of the head folks here. So again, that is legal@privacy6.com. 2 other quick things. The other thing I want to bring up is this place is loaded with third-party private security officers. This is not completely being run by federal agents or federal officers, not even state folks. Most of them are around the perimeter. When we went inside of the cage area, it was mainly private security company folks. Not any different than you'd find if you went to a concert or you went to a sporting game. The last thing I want to say is every Floridian should be ashamed that our taxpayer money is being used to put people in these cages. That our taxpayer money is being used as we're coming into hurricane season. It's being used for this. As we have homeless people sleeping on the streets, as rent is so damn high in this country, it's being used for that. And so what Ron DeSantis said when he said...
Let me stop there. He brought up hurricane season. I was listening to another news report talking about the hurricanes, and as it pertains to, like, say if a hurricane come through, which it's Florida, so you know they're coming, will they evacuate the illegal immigrants that are held there at Alligator Alcatraz? And the response was, well, no, these buildings, the little structures that they're held in, I don't even know what they call those buildings, but you all see they're like those little white boxy things. They said that they're built to handle winds upwards up to 120 miles per hour. I'm hearing, listen, that's not true. But as far as with those structures being able to withstand the hurricanes that are likely to come in. But as of right now, there is no plans to evacuate the people in the event of a category 1 or 2 hurricane. If they were to come through, they're not going to evacuate. Now, the question was, well, what if it's a hurricane that's beyond a 2? Would they evacuate then? And then the person was like, well, right now, there's nothing on no plan as to if they were, what that would look like with them, with an evacuation plan. But I'm sure the Trump administration and Florida government, DeSantis, they'll make sure everyone's safe. So that was the response pertaining to these hurricanes, coming off of just us seeing what took place in the state of Texas. We're now a week and a day out from when they were hit with the major floods, the bad weather and all of that. We seen what that gave. How many lives? They still tallying up the number of lives that are lost as a result of that. So just kind of keep that in mind, as we're listening to them. This is a press conference for those who are just joining in. Right today, the Florida Democrats finally got a chance to tour Alligator Alcatraz, and they're speaking on their opinions based off of what they've seen with their own eyes. So listen, we didn't hear what Leo had to say. Leo said them damn mosquitoes are the size of an elephant. That's what Leo said, and they only getting fed one meal a day. They only getting fed 1 meal a day, and he said he had been there for 4 days and hadn't bathed. And then they don't go outside. And we just heard, the woman here at this press conference, the Dem representative saying it was hot as hell in the building, like by at least 85 degrees. So based off of what Leo said and what these Democrats are saying, The stores are pretty much kind of lining up that this ain't what you want. So I will say, if you are here illegally, it will behoove you to go ahead and self-deport. I'm just saying, but let's get back into this press conference. As you come on in, double tap the screen to like the video. Welcome.
Oh, I've never seen Democrats fight hard for people in the United States. They fight hard for immigrants or this and that. Number one, immigrants don't poison the blood of this nation. They are the blood of this nation. The other thing I'll say is don't lecture us on fighting on behalf of our constituents and Americans when you applauded a bill that just got passed that'll rip away the health care of 2 million Floridians. Don't lecture us when you were going on and saying you love a bill that's going to rip the food out of the mouths of children, that's going to give $150 billion to ICE to go to our communities, terrorize our people, throw them in cages, never to be seen again. It is something everyone, whether you're Democrat, Republican, or anything, should be deeply ashamed of. The work is not done here. We came here to do this, but we will be back. Thank you.
Rather than me say the same thing my colleagues have just said, I associate myself with their comments. Why don't we just go to questions since it's about the poor?
I have a question for you, Representative Moss.
Yeah.
What does the DEM being in charge of this, like, what does that do to the legal implications of Alligator Alcatraz? Like, how do you, the state said that it's not a correctional institution, so how does that work?
So I don't know the legalities of that, but what I can tell you is the way this happened is when the governor declares an emergency, which he did, the director of emergency management becomes the state coordinating officer. Under that authority, they have all the powers of the governor. They can also spend up to $500 million without going back to the legislature. So Kevin Guthrie, who's the director, works directly for the government, for the governor. The Department of Emergency Management is within the governor's office. So he is taking his instructions from the governor, and he has fulfilled those instructions.
But I will add that the executive director of FM did say that FM does not have the 287G authority to, that is, they are not designated to manage this facility on behalf of the federal government. And it is, we were not able to get clarity on whose 287G authority this facility is being run.
And just to add that too, the director referred to those being detained as inmates. Sure. Representative Anavias Kamani from the Orlando area, State House Rep. So different terminology was used to describe those who are being detained right now. So staff referred to them as residents. They wouldn't use the term inmate or detainee. Then the director multiple times referred to folks as inmates and detainees. So there continues to be, to Congressman Frost's point, just vagueness of what this operation actually is, who's in charge, and
referring to prison standards.
Yes, they kept referring to prison standards as well. That every time we asked a question about the environment, they said, these are federal and state prison standards, federal and state prison standards. So it's like, okay, is this a correctional institution? There are FDC staff also working here. It's worth noting that there were staff from the Florida Department of Corrections here.
I think it really needs to be made clear that this facility exists just for purposes of it being a stunt. Right? This is for show. This is DeSantis and Trump chest beating and Upmeyer chest beating to try to make sure that they can send a message that they are the biggest, baddest, nastiest overseers. Because that's what's going on here. This harkens back to when you had people who were encaged, who were imprisoned. I mean, I just think it's important to underscore, when I have been through other ICE facilities, the detainees are not in cages. And there is a temporary structure on the grounds of Chrome Detention Center that I just went to see. And they told me that the reason they're in cages is because it's a temporary facility. But there's a temporary tent on the grounds of Chrome, and those detainees are not in a cage. They freely walk around, their beds are out in the open, they're able to move back and forth between buildings, they are full of it.
Just one other thing I want to say too, that I think is really important to paint this picture. When they let us in to see the cages, and we saw people, of course, yelling for help, we even heard in the background someone yell, "I'm an American citizen." They started chanting "Libertad," freedom, liberty. And I got to tell you, it was very emotional to be there for all of us, to hear that, and to see that our taxpayer money is being used for this stunt. We asked them about a hurricane plan. Of course, the plan is to get people out, and they know that the first, and it doesn't even have to be a hurricane, the first real storm that comes by here, all that money that's been used to build this will completely go to waste. So this has nothing to do with what they tell you it is, and it's all a cruel stunt. Cruelty isn't just the point, it's the strategy in this.
Earlier this week that President calls the modern-day concentration camp. Could you agree with that statement?
Listen, it is as bad as it can be, but it is not a concentration camp. And people should not use Holocaust references to describe what's going on behind us. Well, you're noticing it. It is no different in there.
And there were bugs when we went into the empty dorm that has not yet been finished. There were bugs on the mattresses, all over the mattresses that had not even yet been used in an air-conditioned tent. So I mean, also when we walked through, there were the largest grasshoppers I've ever seen in my life. They were the largest grasshoppers I've ever seen in my life, hopping along around this facility. I mean, this is literally plopped down in the middle.
Remember, Leo said the damn mosquitoes was the size of the damn of an elephant. This woman said, I seen grasshoppers and I ain't never seen nothing in all my days. So do we still want to say Leo, Trey, like Leo lying? Leo's still lying because it seems like the insects there are industrial size. They on some Honey, I Shrunk the Kids type. Y'all remember Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? Everything was super duper size when the people got shrunk. Y'all, like, it's giving Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. So have the people been shrunken, or is the insects just got they just big as hell? What's really going on? She said, I ain't ever seen nothing like this. Leo ain't damn lying. It's real different out here in Alligator Alcatraz. I wonder how big are the alligators? Because now I wonder if the alligators are not normal alligator size that we damn seen at the zoo or whatever the hell you gonna see an alligator at. Everything is just hitting very different at Alligator Alcatraz. Keep in mind, Alligator Alcatraz will cost $450 million to operate annually. $450 million to operate annually. The government seized the land from the state of Florida. They took over the land. This is like on some like eminent domain type stuff. The government came in and said, yeah, we'll take that. Also, FEMA. Remember, FEMA. This FEMA, what they were saying, like, who need FEMA? Right? Them folks in Texas need FEMA real bad right now. FEMA is footing the bill for half of the $450 million. So if folks want to know what the hell money at for FEMA, it's funding Alligator Alcatraz. Someone did the breakdown and says per day, it's about $250 a night. So just think about this experience, what they're describing as far as with these living conditions with 32 people in a what do you want to call it, in a cage, three toilets, and then there's a sink attached to each of the toilets. Y'all, this is a $250 a night experience. So some of you who are like, wow, I always wonder what a $250 a night lodging experience would be like. Well, this is what a $250 a night lodging experience at Alligator Alcatraz is giving. So just want to provide some context behind what you are seeing. The Florida taxpayers, they're paying for this. So we got FEMA who covering parts, and I guess the Florida residents, they got the other 250. The other 225. They got the other 225 because remember, FEMA is footing half the bill. Let's get it. Come on in. Double tap the screen to like the video, like, share, and subscribe. We talking about it.
Of a swamp. I also, since we were able to hear some of the people screaming, another man screamed out that he was poisoned by Clorox in the water, and he was in the hospital for 4 days. Now, we were told that there was no one who was ever hospitalized overnight, so maybe he was referring to the medical clinic here, but I mean, there are really disturbing, violent conditions, and this place needs to be shut the hell down. It needs to be shut down. They want to open up
Y'all think this place need to be shut the hell down? That's a new poll. I got a poll going on about the Epstein files. Make sure you complete that poll. I need to get a new poll going. Do you think are you here for Alligator Alcatraz? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments. Type in yes. Yeah. Type in if you here for alligators, type in the word alligators. If you like, oh hell no. if you like, oh hell no, type in the word type in the word mosquitoes. Type in mosquitoes if you like, we can't do it. Leo said the mosquitoes are the size of an elephant. This woman right here on the screen said she ain't never seen no grasshoppers the size of the ones that she's seen here at Alligator Alcatraz. Mosquitoes, I'm seeing mosquitoes like, mosquitoes is no. Gators is yes. Gators, yeah. So I'm seeing the gators. Y'all like, listen, it is what it is. It is what it is. Here for the mayor, for the animal says, I live in Florida. All of it, let me see what she said. I live in Florida. If all of America ain't funding, then why should I? Listen, I'm telling these people in this press conference just said that the Floridians are paying for this. And then I've told y'all that I had already learned, I covered it on this channel before, that FEMA is footing like half the bill. So they're not paying for all of it. I guess FEMA got some, they putting a little something on it, and then the Floridians, y'all got the rest. Y'all got the rest. TJ said this place is no different than any city in the country, city or county jail in America. It's the same as any military base in America. Listen, TJ said, listen, I'm trying to tell y'all, some of y'all ain't never been in none of these type of establishments, in these type of facilities. But I'm letting y'all know, this ain't no different. This is no different. This is no different. So let's get back to the press conference.
If they open up a different facility in a more appropriate place, like if they opened up at Homestead Airport, you know, when they could establish much more habitable conditions, that's a different story. This place is a stunt, and they're abusing human beings here, and it's an outrage.
Can I make really quick? I just want to debunk one thing. My colleagues, and I thank for our federal partners, but this idea that the worst of the worst is inside the facility is not true.
Yep.
They are separating them based off of wristbands, based off of orange, yellow, and red. And individuals with small infractions are inside this facility. Civil traffic infractions, suspended license are in there. So the idea that the worst of the worst is in there is not true.
So adding to that point, I'll just add, the only people we saw there were Hispanic-looking males. That's all we saw there. All Hispanic-looking adult males, including those with no criminal infractions at the lowest level. There was one person who was on medical isolation. We couldn't get details about that. I was trying to figure out if it's a public health emergency or a public health concern that puts him in isolation, and we don't know how many people have been put in medical isolation to this point.
State Senator just came out before you guys and said that conditions were fine, the beds were comfortable, the food was great. Painting very rosy picture.
Unfortunately, my colleagues, that's because they take this as a game. And that's how they have been operating in there, right? So what we just saw is not a game, especially as the congressman just made mention of, that while we were in there, at one point it was clocked at about 81 degrees in at a particular spot. And I know for a fact if you continue to go in, it is even hotter.
It was 83.
83 degrees. 83 degrees.
And just to read a statement from the wife of a detainee regarding the scheduled tour from his pastor to me yesterday. His wife says they allowed him to take a shower and gave them new clothes, and the food all of a sudden is better. I wonder how long that's going to last after your visit.
And also, I want to point out,
Y'all, it sounds like they probably talking about Katya. Remember, Leo was saying his ass, he was funky. He ain't had no bath in 4 days. Remember, y'all remember Leo? He was on the call. And Katya, his woman, she was like, they doing my man dirty, literally. So I believe since that was, remember, I played the news clip. So since that started circulating, they went ahead and allowed for him to bathe and address some of those concerns that he had, because it's made the news. It made the news. So I'm willing to bet that's the same story that we watched. So I'm happy we watched that first, because we heard Leo said these damn mosquitoes is the size of elephants.
I don't really want to debate the conditions. My name is Representative Rita Harris, House District 44. We don't need to debate the conditions. The fact is there are people there that most likely do not belong there, and that is enough. Thank you.
Any other questions?
And I will add, I always felt this way. So when I heard about Alligator Alcatraz initially, I'm like, okay, so they're sending the worst of the worst there. Okay. But my thing was, I hope that the administration is doing their due diligence with making sure that the people who are sent there are rightfully sent there, because I do not feel like that's a place that somebody go there by accident. I don't even feel like just jail in general, anyone should be going by accident. And we've seen with the current administration, they don't really be showing no paperwork on the receipts to support who they locking up. They'll come out and say, all right, then, well, this is what they did. And like, remember with Kilmar Brega, Abrego, like it took a long time for them to kind of show receipts to support why they sent him away. Because remember, it's still, his situation is still in litigation. It's still questionable as to whether or not he should have been sent to El Salvador. But what we've seen is that with the current administration, they're not really a receipts type administration. They like, listen, y'all, listen, I said what I said. I done told y'all that this person did this, that, and the third, and I'm gonna need for y'all to take my word. This is how they move. So with that being said, I'm like, yo, like I wouldn't want somebody just by accident who shouldn't be there to be at a facility like this. Because in some of these camps, these detention centers, some people have lost their lives. I reported a couple of weeks ago, I think it was like at that time about 5 people who had been on record who had lost their lives in one of the detention centers. And I think so there was like 5 people who lost their lives, and I think 3 of them all lost their lives at a particular detention center, I think in Florida. I think it's the one that they keep referring to as they compare it to Alligator Alcatraz. If you're, listen, this ain't what you want. This right here, this is not what you want. It's just bad all the way around. Like I said, the worst of the worst. Okay, but you there on a traffic ticket, you like what they're saying, like, come on now. Send them to one of the other places. The worst of the worst, all right, then fine. This is if y'all saying this is where they need to go, but worst of the worst is like people who didn't off people, who's AR'd people, who's molested children. Like that's worst of the worst for me. A traffic ticket, stealing, like Leo in there for not returning his jet ski in time. Leo wasn't done with the rental. He was like, listen, I need one more day. Leo, they told your ass you need to take it back on Thursday. Leo was like, nah, but I want it for the weekend too. All right then, Leo. You think fat, meat, greasy? Fine. We about to roll. You about to damn go to Alligator Alcatraz. I bet you Leo is wishing like hell he had returned the damn jet ski. Ain't no jet ski worth all of this. Leo is at Alligator Alcatraz behind the damn jet ski. I'm just saying. But let's just get back to this press conference. We got about another 3 minutes and 41 seconds. Let's get through it.
Yeah, I'll answer that. So that decision will be made by, obviously, the Director of Emergency Management when to pull that trigger. But he said that there were evacuation plans in place, and most likely what they would do is they would get the people out, they would decompress this facility, and then move them to facilities they've already transferred them out of to bring them here, like the county jail. You better have a lot of time.
Okay, last question. One last one. How long was your
Yeah. The question about hearings, as a member of the House Oversight Committee, I can tell you after this, I have many phone calls planned with my colleagues to talk about possibly coming down here, possibly holding ad hoc hearings about this facility, and not just facility. This is indicative of a greater problem too across this country. The dehumanizing immigrants, dehumanizing people who are in this country, who've been in this country, many of whom over a decade. People like my mother who came here as a refugee from Cuba. You know, when I was in that facility looking at those cages, I saw young men who looked exactly like me. I saw myself in those cages. And so there will be hearings and there will be accountability on this at the federal level. And of course, I know our state partners are going to work on it as well.
The difference in the impression between the Republican legislators and ours tells you all you need to know about the difference in the regard for human life and human beings between people who elect Democrats and people who elect Republicans. We all here clearly ran for different reasons than our friends on the other side of the aisle. We ran to help make people's lives better, and they ran to serve their MAGA master and remain in power. And you know, like every single day, I know we all will continue to fight to make all humans' lives better, and that's what our fight against these kinds of conditions in detention facilities are all about. I'll say just lastly, I think every single one of us here would agree that if you are a criminal and you're an undocumented immigrant, that's right, you should be deported. That's right. Criminals should not be able to remain as long as they have due process and they've been detained under our laws. Criminals don't belong in this country, but the problem is, yes, with due process, exactly. But that's not occurring here, and the rule of law has to be followed, and that's the difference between the impression you were given by the Republican legislators who walked up to this podium before we got here and ours. Thank you all very much.
So, let me get into some of these comments. Shoe Girl said, where were these Dems when Americans were living in horrible conditions in North Carolina and Tennessee after Hurricane Helene. Mike says she's rotten to the core. Joe said Donald Trump is our king. Glory to the Trump royal family. Just say Wynn said people can avoid this happening to them. My thing is, I have a question. So as we see what they're heard about what the living conditions are at Alligator Alcatraz, do you feel like, so let's just say you're good, you're Gucci, you're like, hey, Alligator Alcatraz is fine. Do you share the same sentiments if Americans, legal, just American citizens who commit crimes for, let's just say, parking tickets, any type of crime, are you good with also them going to be in an environment like Alligator Alcatraz as well? Like, okay, because many of us know somebody who's either doing time right now or who's done some time, or some of you may have done time. Are you good with the American people also being in those type of environments? If they say, hey, Alligator Alcatraz is here. Some people, Joe's like, yes, okay, Alligator Alcatraz is here. Somebody brought up like just Alcatraz. There was Alcatraz. Like, so are you like, yo, anybody can go over there? It don't have to be just illegal. I'm like, anybody can go over there and live in those kind of conditions. Because my thing is, I'm just more of like an equal opportunist type person. So if you're like, hey, this is just the type of time we're on when it comes to jail life, it is what it is. I personally don't feel like it should be a different type of treatment for, say, somebody who's been rounded up because they're a legal immigrant versus someone who's an American citizen who's also committing crimes. You see what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, if you're saying the worst of the worst deserve this type of treatment, period, regardless of what your ethnicity is, skin color, religion, this is what they deserve. All right, then. But if you're trying to separate it and be like, well, no, I don't want my cousin Leon or, my cousin Michael going over there because I want to be able to visit him. So I feel like he need to be able to kind of be over here in these type of conditions. But Carlos, them, yeah, put them over there. You see, I don't subscribe to that. I'm like, yo, either we here for it as a collective for people who break the law, all, or we're like, nah, this just ain't cool for nobody. Which one? Which one? Are y'all like, nah, just put them over there? Or y'all like, listen, everybody can get this work. Everybody get ate up by the mosquitoes that's the size of the elephants, because that's what Leo said. Everybody played with the grasshoppers that's the size of the grasshoppers in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. That woman said that she ain't never in all her days, all my life I had to fight. She said, I ain't never seen no grasshoppers. She couldn't even equate it to a size. Leo said, listen, Katia, listen, them damn mosquitoes, I need to put it in context so you understand what your man going through. They the size of elephants. Old girl couldn't even give a description. She just like, I ain't never seen nothing like this. I've never seen nothing like this. John said it's a camping trip. Listen, I don't do camping. Most of the ones that look like me, we don't play like that. We might give you some time in a cabin. A cabin a little cute, a cabin can be cute, but your girl ain't trying to be outside. I ain't even rock with Girl Scouts like that. I did Girl Scouts for a couple of years, but I am not about that life. I'm just not your girl. I'm not your girl. John says they are spoiled here. So Mike says they're not staying long. They're flying them home. So listen, in this clip that we saw, I don't know when you came in, they touched on that. They are supposed to only be there for like 14 days before they get flued out. But they're saying right now, nobody has left. Everyone who's been sent there, no one has been flued out anywhere. So they're basically saying that's not true as far as with them just only being there for like the little minimal time. That's not correct. So that's what the Democrats were saying in that press conference. Mike said it's not a permanent residence. They're going to fly them home, but when? So that's part of the question, like when, because on record it's supposed to be after a few days, but they're saying that hasn't been taken. That's not holding true with them staying there only for the minimum 14 days. So we will keep that in mind, as we think about the conditions they're in and how long they're in. But right now it's been said, according to the Democrats in Florida, that those people They haven't had anybody who's came there and who's left. Like, they've kind of been there. And they opened up, I want to say they opened up the week before. That this is probably week 2 that Alligator Alcatraz has been open, because it only took a week to get it together. So just say Wynn said 14 days is not up yet. Okay, so according to what they were saying, they said they got 14 days to be there. So we'll see. When is 14 days? 14 days is probably going to be what, Monday or Tuesday. 14 days is near. So we'll see. We will see. It's been open for longer than a week, because now, like, it's been open for longer than a week. Alligator Alcatraz opened last week. We're in a whole nother week. So it's been more than 1 week. I do know that. I've been covering it. It wasn't this week that Trump was there during the grand opening. It was like last week. It wasn't this week. This place did not open this week. It was last week, you all. It was like early in the week. I think on like a Tuesday or something like that. It was not this week. So it may not be right at the 14 days, but it's definitely longer than 7. It's longer than 7. PGB said 2 weeks ago. I know it's been more than a week. I know that because I cover this. TJ said it wasn't open when Trump was there. Let me look online and see when did Alligator, because let me look and see when he opened it. Okay, it's saying the Alligator Alcatraz Detention Center officially opened on July 3rd. So what are we? Today is the 12th. It opened on July 3rd. July 3rd. July 3rd was what was that? Thursday? Because my son's birthday is July 3rd. So that was last Thursday. So we're over a week. We're not right at 14. So we're at 7, 8, 9. So we're over a week, not quite 14. So it's more than a week, but it hasn't been the 14 days. Let me see. John said July 1st. Yeah. Yeah, the internet is saying, let me show y'all what I'm looking at. It's showing July 3rd. Wikipedia also has July 3rd. So it was the first that Ron DeSantis, let's see, there is something talking about the first, the followers, and let's see, this followed the announcement of the facility's opening by Ron DeSantis and other state leaders on July 1st. So I think the first, that was probably maybe the day when maybe President Trump was there, but it's showing as though like it opened on July 3rd. Florida lawmakers visit Alligator Alcatraz for the first time after weeks of being denied entry. All right. So as we heard them say, they said some people were yelling in the background, I am an American citizen. So could there be American citizens that are being detained at Alligator Alcatraz who should not be there? Detainees said they went days without showering and getting prescription medicine, and at times the air conditioners would abruptly shut off in the sweltering heat. So my thing is, all right, if you're good with these conditions, are you good for, is it good for everyone? Or are you like, nah, just for the illegal immigrants? I'm not in support of just illegal immigrants having conditions that are worse than American criminals. My thing is like a criminal's a criminal. You either give criminals good conditions or poor conditions, but I don't think it should be separated based off of ethnicity of how you're treated. That's all I'm saying. Like, I think a black criminal, a white criminal, an Asian criminal, a Hispanic criminal. I think they all should be treated the same, however that treatment is. Not, okay, well, the Hispanic criminal, I'm going to need for them to be over here to be treated this way. I don't subscribe to that. That's just not how I roll. Mike says they even have air-conditioned rooms. Come on. Well, hell, they say, I guess when it worked, Mike, because they saying, hell, it ain't, they don't be working. They don't always be working. But do they have air conditioning at the other state facilities or federal environments, prisons and jails? Listen, thank God I ain't never been in one, but do they have air conditioned there? So I would like to think they do. I've never heard an inmate, anybody I've heard talk about their experience being locked up where they talk about the temperature, like the air not working or the heat not working. Sally said, do you think citizens and non-citizens should be treated the same? I think when it comes to the legal system, you know, being detained, yes, I think they should be treated the same when they're locked up. I do not think that just because someone's here illegally when they're locked up and detained, they should be treated worse than an American criminal just because of what their skin color is or where they came from. No, I think a criminal should be treated like a criminal. Period. So if you're a criminal, this is the treatment. Not, well, if you're a Hispanic criminal, this is your treatment. If you're a black criminal, this is your treatment. I don't believe in that. So that's my response to that. Let me see. Let's see. Pine Center says, everyone is saying they're being sent home. They're not. They're being sent to El Salvador, South Sudan, etc., regardless of their country of origin. Sally said, let me see, Sally Sock says citizens have more rights than non-citizens. I get that. But my opinion is, I think when you're rounding up the illegals, I just think that, now, I'm not going to say when you put them in a separate environment that they should have just, okay, the same facility. I'm just saying that the same basic essentials, the same basic treatment that you're giving an American person who's being detained, like bath, however often they're bathing. I feel like the illegal should be allotted that same number of times to bathe. However many meals you're giving that American a day, I feel like the illegal immigrant should be giving that number of meals. That's all I'm saying. Like, I'm just saying, even if like the building is like different, I'm just saying like just the basics, y'all. Like this shit, like, listen, it's just basic, like just fair treatment. Just fair treatment. That's all I'm saying. But that's just my opinion, y'all. I'm just getting through the comments. You know, everybody, you know, got different views or whatever, and that's fine. Just continue, you know, just be respectful. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts, because, you know, people have opinions about this, and people have different opinions. People have different opinions on this type of thing. NC said this is an emergency system to take care of all the arrests. Dark Star said if they invaded the Congo, the guerrillas would have treated them less kindness. PGB says, since when is the U.S. an unlimited resource? Ali said our soldiers and Marines endure a lot worse. TJ says, in any American jail, you're lucky to shower once a week. Okay. Didn't know it was like that, TJ. Thanks for sharing that. Wow. Okay. I thought it was at least once a day, but okay. Okay. Cam C says, Rosa, I think NC said they getting fed, a bed, baths, and free trip home. What else is it? Well, remember, Leo was saying he had been there for 4 days and didn't get a bath. So yes, they're saying they're giving them all of these things, but are they really? I mean, that's the question, because one of the detainees was like, yo, like I've been here 4 days and I haven't had a bath. And then in the press conference, one of the people who spoke said that since then, one of the people who I guess spoke out, who said they had not been able to shower, they since then were able to finally be able to shower, I guess because it hit the news, it hit the media. So yes, if this was actually happening, NC, but the question is like, is it really happening like that? Is it really happening like that? TJ said, yeah, once a day, and Tuesday is a steak and a lobster. Sally said, I worked in Texas State Corrections for nearly 4 years. They didn't have AC except in mental health facilities. The dorms had what was called a swamp cooler. Wow. So maybe maybe I'll just got life twisted with what I think the jail life is. Because I guess I'm just going off of hell with sound the way it seemed like it should be. But y'all enlightening me, so y'all keep it coming. Y'all let me know how it really go down in these jails. So y'all said, listen, Alligator Alcatraz, listen, this is 4-star, 5-star treatment. So they ain't got nothing to complain about. All right, then. Listen, I ain't gonna argue with you. If y'all know, y'all like, gee, listen, I was in the trenches. I know. So I'm just gonna read the comments. If that's how it is, if y'all like, listen, this is how the American people are treated too. Okay. Mike said, do you think these people lived in a life of luxury where they came from? Why do you think they came here illegally? No, I don't think so at all. I don't think they lived a life of luxury. I don't think so at all. I just this situation at Alligator Alcatraz, I'm just saying if it don't align with just the standard treatment of the inmates here in the US, if it's not in sync with it, then that's because even, the people who were at the press conference, they were like, even at the other detention centers, they were like, it doesn't measure up to even the way it is at the other detention centers. So let's just say we just compare it to the other detention centers. Come on. And then they're saying that it's not, they have risk-coded bands that indicate the type of charge that they're in there on. So everyone isn't in there on like a serious charge. Some people are in there on just a traffic violation. So should somebody who's in there on a traffic violation receive the same type of treatment as someone who's in there on murking somebody, R-ing somebody? Because they're an illegal immigrant? I mean, no, I think that, there's levels to everything. I think that there should be a different type of environment that somebody who's there on a traffic violation should be in versus somebody who's there for committing a heinous crime. CR said, I'd rather be in an air-conditioned tent at Alligator Alcatraz than sitting under a bridge in a cage in San Diego heat with no AC. Obama. Okay. Robert said, let them have 1 hour a day in swimming in the Everglades. You said, okay, y'all want to go outside? All right, then y'all get an hour a day to go swim in the Everglades. So NC said, I think they are getting treated fair. Okay. And I imagine, many of you are, basing it off of just your understanding of what you've seen with how other environments are, how other inmates, American citizens are treated. So, I'm taking that into consideration as you're voicing your opinion, because I'm just kind of basing mine based off of the way to me I feel like it should be, not really the way it is. So many of you are like, nah, Sheik, let me kick this to you with how it really is out here in these streets when it comes to these jails, and these detention centers. John said, actually, it's good for your skin if you take showers once a week. Yeah, we definitely don't collectively subscribe to that one in my community. They looking at you sideways. You going 2 days without bathing. They like, what? Listen, you got folks who be like, I'm hitting that water 2-3 times a day. So, yeah. Robert says they're being treated better than U.S. inmates. All right. Mike said, if I get arrested while I'm in Mexico on vacation, I'm going to demand an air-conditioned room. Mike said, listen, what the hell y'all AC at? At Alligator Alcatraz, they got AC. Sometimes it don't be there working, but it's there. Where is the unit? I needs to see the unit. I needs to see the unit. Let's see. CR says, I live down the road from the work camp here in Florida. Those boys live in a warehouse with no AC. I've done some concrete work up there. Man, I'm learning today. That's what it's about, y'all. When I go live, I say, she go live and she got questions. Y'all like, she, this AC, that's luxury living. You get that at the crib, not in the jail, not in the P now. Y'all, I promise you, this is new to me. I did not know that the AC was not like something basic with like 3 meals a day type situation. I promise you, I did not know. Forgive me. I am learning. I do not proclaim to have all the answers, but I thank y'all for enlightening me. Ruby Rose says, forget San Diego, try Arizona. T. Davis says, they don't have 2 different jails until you go to court. Everyone is with everyone. Let me see. CR says, you see everything in Florida. Have you not seen the YouTube videos? I guess I need to listen. So that's probably going to be my homework assignment, y'all. I'm going to need to take a deep dive and do some research into just the jails. Like, what's the normal conditions? Because I'm promising y'all, like, listen, I ain't about that life. I know people who have been about that life throughout, my life and, growing up, uncles, maybe some cousins that, live in another state. But I'm going to need to get into some conversations with some people, to see like, what's really going down in these jails and these prisons. I need, listen, I need to talk to some people because clearly I am like ill-informed. I don't know. Sierra says, you can imagine cutting the grass on the side of the road with a weed eater all day, then go to sleep in a bunk bed, damn warehouse with no AC. Y'all said it's hard out. They say, Sheik, you say it's hard out here for a pimp. Y'all, it's hard out here for a pimp. Y'all, it's rough and tough. Moral of the story, be on the up and up. Don't get locked up. Don't end up at county. Don't end up at Alligator Alcatraz. Don't end up at San Quentin. Don't end up in the federal jail prisons. Like y'all like, listen, just do right out here. This ain't what you want. This is what I'm picking up. This is what I'm picking up. I get it. Y'all like, this is not what you want. It's not what you want. Robert says, no Florida prison has AC. My. I need to definitely make sure I share this message with the kids. Like, listen, we in Georgia. I live in Georgia. It's hot as all get out here. I know Florida is just on a whole other level. But more of the story is the being caught up in the system is just not what you want. It's not what you want. Again, those who are listening, self-port right now. Just go ahead and self-port. Go ahead and self-port. Mike said, keep in mind the Democrats are there for a reason. That reason is to put on a show and make Trump look as bad as possible. Consider the source. Noted, Mike. Noted. Robert says, keep up the good work. Thank you so much, Robert. Listen, we learning today. We learning today. T. Davis says, county jail has air conditioning, but prison doesn't. All right, then T. Davis said, listen, in county, it's air in county. I don't know what the hell y'all talking about. Shit, we got AC. I didn't see in the unit. Listen, we got air up in county. I don't know what they got popping off over there in them prisons. Because I got my act together. I didn't make it that far. Mike said mistakes are going to be made. They are made every day. Let's see how they take care of the mistakes first. Okay. You said, listen, as my husband always say, let them cook. My husband's a big Trump supporter. His favorite thing, let them cook. Let them cook. It's still early. All right, then, player, let them cook. So listen, y'all like, listen, it's still early. We was hollering, hey, we ain't even hit 90 days. Now we like, all right, then. We just, we 7 months in. We just almost halfway through the first term. Y'all saying let them cook. It's still early. It's still early. Let me see. Ruby Rose said, come to the good side already. We welcome you with open arms. Stop believing all the BS. Y'all, Ruby Rose said, listen, cross over. Come to the other side. Hashtag let them cook. Let them cook. PGB said, good man, listen. Trump can't listen. Trump, you can't listen. You can't tell my husband that Trump ain't the damn man. Oh my God, listen. He like, listen, self-deport. If you don't like these conditions, Damn, get the hell on your own. But if you want to stay here, this is what you get. This is what you get. So that's what I got up over here with me. Let them cook. T. Davis says, I only know people that work there. I never went in myself. Listen, with T. Davis, listen, sometimes I'm definitely a believer. We do not have to experience everything on our own. We do not have to experience everything on our own. Listen, Linda, listen. Welcome, Tammy. Listen, Linda, listen. We don't have to experience everything on our own. T. Davis says, listen, I didn't have to go up in that establishment to see how it's popping off. They done told me how it's popping off over there. And that was enough, more than enough for me. That's a smart person. That's a smart person. Common sense and discernment. Mike said, the minute the Democrats see a mistake being made, they are going to pounce on it. Let's just relax and see how they work it out. T. Davis says, enough. That was enough. Hashtag enough. I know that's right. So, yes, we still continue to watch it. I do try to take into account the messenger. I move around. I listen to different content, like different news outlets to see how they're reporting on things. Because, yes, I wouldn't, imagine the Democrats would get up there and say things that are warm and fuzzy. What's up, Tammy? I wouldn't imagine the Democrats will get up there and say things that are favorable for Trump or warm and fuzzy. But God damn it, listen. Leo said them damn mosquitoes was the size of damn elephants. And then that woman said, listen, in all my days, I ain't never seen no grasshoppers this size. So it's the visuals, for me. It's the visuals for me. But listen, I continue to move around. I talk about, if y'all new to my channel, listen, I talk about it all. I talk about it all. And I like to come on here and go live to get you all's opinions on the things that are going on out here in these political streets. And right now, I know a lot of people are just really in their feels centered around the Epstein files and these illegal immigration roundup, which I will say, listen, I'm not mad. Listen, let me make this clear. I am in support of the illegal immigration roundups. Now, I didn't talk about Alligator Alcatraz and in my feelings centered around that. But in all, I am here for the roundup of illegal immigration. Hey, how about y'all? Like they are talking about, they're contributing the increases in jobs for the month of June because of the Trumps in the illegal roundups for the roundup of illegal immigrants. They said that there was more jobs that became available during the month of June. There were about 560,000 fewer jobs that were held by immigrants. So guess what? When those immigrants are no longer occupying those jobs, it creates job opportunities for the American people. More jobs for Americans, John say. More. Y'all, I am here for this. Let me see why I got y'all attention. Y'all come on in here. What y'all got going on this Saturday? It's 9 o'clock. Y'all get comfortable. We about to see something. Let's look at these numbers for jobs, because when I heard that, y'all, I listened to, it was this video that somebody was playing of this guy, and he said that he went on a construction site and he was like, yo, like, y'all hiring? I need a job. The man was like, yo, like, can you start now? The guy went on his social media and just was like, President Trump, I am so grateful for what you've done. I had not been able to find a job. I've been driving like he was driving Uber or Lyft. He went on a construction site. Y'all know who normally holds those construction sites. Y'all know who normally holds who holds those jobs. Carlos, Juan be on the roof. It don't be David and Stephen on the roof. It don't be Charles. It don't be Marcus. It be Carlos and Juan on the roofs. Robert says there is plenty of jobs, 1,000 of jobs. There's a lot more jobs. Y'all, I be telling y'all need to go into the comments on these videos. I was in the comments, probably, I don't know if it was on that particular video. It might have been on that video. And this one guy says, I'm a general contractor. And in my state, he didn't say what state he lived in. He said, I live in a red state, a very rich red state. He was like, right now, there are so many people, there are so many jobs, like opportunities available for work for roofing work because there's not enough workers, because the illegal immigrants, they either then got rounded up or they're somewhere they're running and hiding because they're fearful of getting rounded up. So there's no one there to work these jobs. This guy was like, yo, like my business. He was like, I am booked for the next year. I am hiring. I am looking for 10 workers starting out at $25 an hour. I'm looking for 10 American workers. The work is here now because now there's not enough workers in this field because the illegal immigrants are no longer at these job sites. That was music to my ears. I'm like, bet. That's what the freak I'm talking about. Let me see. So let's get into the job numbers. Let me see if I can find something centered around the jobs. Let's see what they're talking about. All right, so let's see this. This is just what I did, just a high-level search. See what they're talking about. So, AI. So I just kind of typed in, let me show y'all. I just typed in more jobs in June 2025. Let's see what they're talking about. The AI overview. In June 2025, the U.S. economy added 147,000 jobs, exceeding economists' expectations. The unemployment rates also slightly decreased to 4.1%. Job growth. The economy gained 147,000 jobs in June, which is more than a projected 110,000 to 140,000 jobs. Unemployment rate. The unemployment rate fell to 4.1%, a decrease from 4.2% in May. How do you not get excited when you hear stuff like this in the USA, in our country? Sector growth. Government and healthcare sectors saw the most significant gains. Government employers added 73,000 jobs in state and local governments, leading the way. Private education and health services added 51,000 jobs. Y'all look at that. Other industries. Several other sectors also experienced job growth, including leisure and hospitality, construction, transportation, warehousing, financial activities, information, and retail. Y'all know illegal immigrants, they're heavy in the hospitality and construction. They're heavy. Then you'll find them in the warehouses. Listen, so if they're getting rounded up, these are free. These are new job opportunities for people. Job losses. Some industries did experience job losses, including manufacturing, professional and business services, and wholesale trade. Long-term unemployment. There was a rise in long-term unemployed individuals, which offset some of the gains from the previous month. Revisions. The job gains for April and May were revised upwards by a combined 16,000. Listen, people are getting jobs. Let's see what NBC News has to say. The U.S. added 147,000 jobs in June, relieving some concerns of workforce slowdown. Non-farm payroll, 147,000. Unemployment rate, 4.1%. Average hourly, looks like let's listen to this clip.
Both of you with us. So, Christine,
Let's see.
the U.S. economy added 147,000 jobs in June. That was more than expected. The unemployment rate fell slightly to 4.1%. Here to talk more about all this, NBC News senior business correspondent Christine Romans and Investopedia's editor-in-chief Caleb Silver. Good morning. Good to have both of you with us. So, Christine, it has been a resilient first half of the year for the U.S. jobs market, despite all the questions about tariffs and everything else. Let's just start with the numbers. Walk us through this jobs report.
I mean, I think resilient is the word. 147,000 jobs added. That's right in line with the average for the past year, about 146,000. The jobless rate fell a little bit. Average hourly earnings still a little light, but still, that's your paycheck. The paycheck growing 3.7% over the past year. So if you have a job, you're being compensated for it. So the headlines here are all pretty sturdy. Also, the month of May was revised higher, kind of defying expectations, but you dig in these numbers. Private sector was not what was really driving things. It was state government jobs driving this job growth. So seeing the weakest private sector job growth since last October.
Yeah, so Caleb, I think a lot of people have been waiting for things to sort of take a bad turn. When you look at DOGE, when you look at sort of the economic uncertainty surrounding the tariffs, what does this say about the state of our economy right now?
It's stronger than a lot of us thought it might be at this point in time. And as Christine said, a lot of the headline numbers look really strong here, almost surprisingly strong. We had April and May revised higher. You have the unemployment rate dropping from 4.2% to 4.1%. Less work is out there. That brings the denominator down. And when you look at the government jobs, we did lose 7,000 federal government jobs. Those are the Doge cuts, 69,000 total so far. But other government jobs, local and state government, was probably the most aggressive hiring sector here. So there's a lot of strength and resilience in that part of the economy right now. Not a lot in private sector. We got the private payrolls earlier this week. That fell 33,000 jobs, first drop in several years.
And that was, of course, a big headline yesterday morning, which made people wonder what we would see today. Just beyond the government jobs, when we break it down by industry, anything else standing out here?
Healthcare. And I think in light of this big, beautiful bill discussions that's happening right now with Medicaid potential cuts that could hurt rural hospitals, you're seeing a really consistent driver of employment from those very kinds of facilities, residential care facilities, nursing home facilities, job gains in hospitals. So you can see healthcare continuing to be a really important engine of the American economy here. Also, we talked about state government employees, federal government down, but little change really in things like mining and quarrying and manufacturing and wholesale trade, which is kind of as expected with all the uncertainty over the president's trade policy.
All right, which brings us now to the Federal Reserve. We know the president wants them to drop the rates. They have not done that recently. Caleb, how far away are we?
Oh, just 27 days, 5 hours and 15 minutes. But what's interesting, in just the last few minutes, we watched the percent possibility of a small Fed rate cut next month or the end of this month go from 25% down to like 2%. So this shows that the economy's in pretty strong shape. If you're the Federal Reserve and Chair Powell, you're saying, I really don't see any reason to make any changes here. There's probably not going to make a change to interest rates, but you're definitely going to get more rage coming out of the White House demanding lower interest rates right now because that lowers the
you want lower rates when things are weak. This is not a weak number. So you don't want to goose an economy that is still potentially could churn up more inflation.
And could have more inflation as of next week, as of April 9th.
Right.
All right, so what are we seeing when it comes to wage growth right now?
So wage growth was pretty decent. It was a little lighter. The expectation was 0.3%. It was 0.2%. It sounds like a lot of numbers for everybody having breakfast this morning, but essentially your paycheck is growing 3.7%. Like I've been really watching the number of people who are recently unemployed, and you're seeing kind of this bifurcation in the labor market. If you have a job and you're employed, you're getting decent wage growth and you're in good shape. If you're recently unemployed or you're recently graduated, that's where you're starting. That first tier of the job market is where you're starting to see some signs of weakness, which is as expected. The companies, the first place they try to pull back if they're uncertain is what? New hires. So if you have a job, those people are doing quite well. People who are recently unemployed or recent college graduates are starting to see some cracks in the labor market.
We had Sharon Epperson on yesterday from CNBC who talked about revenge saving, something we're starting to see. People are simply saving more. Just right now, what is going on for the average American consumer when it comes to the economy, the job market, all of it put together?
Yeah, they were bracing. We're all bracing for higher prices due to tariffs, but we haven't really seen them yet across the boards or in major ways. So people have been saving, and that's a good thing. That said, if it slows down spending, that slows the economy. Got to spend a little to keep the economy churning. We saw that GDP number for the first quarter come in at what, 0.5%. Yeah. That is not a strong growing economy. That said, it's not weak, and there are job gains here, especially in certain sectors. So people are saving, good news, but we also know consumer debt is very high as well.
All right, Caleb, Christine, thank you.
So, moral of the story, in all, the economy isn't doing too bad when it comes to the job market. It's doing better than projected. According to June's increases were led by roles in the state and local government education, which added 63,500 positions, with state and local roles overall accounting for half of all gains for their month. Healthcare and social assistance added another 58,600 jobs, while leisure and hospitality grew by 20,000 and construction gained 50,000. Again, like a lot of the illegal immigrants, they were in the construction and hospitality. So it's no coincidence that there were big gains in those sectors, because a lot of those people, they're running scared, or they've been rounded up or sent back home or whatever, but they're not at work. They're not at what was once work for them. MG said it was a net loss of 30,000 jobs. So again, I told you about a guy I saw on the internet. He was like, you know, just someone, a content creator was just reacting to a video, and he was just so grateful. He was like, I got a job. He's like, I've been looking for a job. I got a job to show up to on Monday. On the day I went on site, talking about, hey, y'all hiring. They were like, yo, when can you start? Can you start now? He was so excited and so grateful because he knew not long ago, like, that wasn't the situation. Again, I tell you all, when you're watching these videos, get into the comments and see what people are saying, because I've seen a lot of people just talk about how just in their communities, it's just has been a struggle with getting work because they were getting undercut by, like, remember I told you all about the general contractor who had a business centered around roofing, and he says in his red state, Democrat state, not what did he say? No, so that'd be a Republican state. It was one of his states. I think he said it was a red state, so that'd be a Republican state. He said that there's like a lot of jobs available because, like, the Hispanic people who work those jobs, they're not there anymore to do those jobs. So he's booked and he's needing to hire. So in the comments, I also saw someone say that they were getting undercut by the people, like the illegal immigrants that was coming to the U.S. offering to do same jobs for like a lot less. So therefore, they were struggling to put food on the table because they were getting undercut. Can you imagine? You know, you're trying to live, and then you know that your value is $30 an hour to do what it is that you do, but you have an illegal immigrant coming in saying that, hey, I'll do it for $15 an hour. That will mess anyone up. And that's what a lot of people were experiencing in their industries. And that's just industries across the board, even like engineers. There was a time too where again, I read the comments, and there was this guy, he was like, you know, he was Indian. He was from, like, you know, his roots were like, you know, from the Middle East over there. And he was like, you know, I'm college educated, and, you know, I think he maybe went to one of them Ivy League colleges like Harvard or something like that. And he was like, even the Indians who are like that's coming over, or the people who are coming over from Dubai, they're undercutting us who are citizens over here who are of the same cultural background and things. He was like, they're undercutting us because they're charging less. It's cheaper. They're charging, you know, they may say, hey, I'll do this engineering job for $60,000 versus the American person saying, hey, I'll do that engineering job for $120,000. These companies are like, well, hell, I'm gonna go with the person who's willing to do it for $60,000. I'm saving. That's half the amount that I would have to pay you. So this was happening not even just with, you know, people from just the Hispanic people or the people who were working the blue collar jobs. This was happening with the white collar jobs as well. So it hit all industries. All industries have been impacted by the situation centered around illegal immigrations. All industries, all the way down to like jobs at your local fast food restaurants, your McDonald's, Burger King, whatever. I've heard so many people talk about it being so hard for their young children to even get jobs or summer jobs because especially in California, I was hearing this, where because a lot of the people, they're like, yo, when you go into these establishments, they're just, it's just workers who are from the Hispanic community. So like the manager will be Hispanic, like they're just hiring their own. So people who weren't a part of the community, they weren't getting these job opportunities, y'all. Like I listen, that's what I'm saying. When you go to these videos and you hear people talk about their experiences, when you watch your favorite content creators, look into the comments and people will talk about their personal experiences, just like many of you on this live are sharing your experiences. I'm learning here. Do the same on these videos. So I'm sharing just the different experiences that people have had when they have come to the job market and securing jobs in the U.S. It's been a challenge. It's been a challenge because they've been having to go up against people who are here illegally, and those people are demanding or requiring lower wages. People talk about, oh, well, they just do the jobs that no one wants to do. That is a bold-faced lie. Y'all, do y'all know I was just listening to a woman, she was breaking down the stats. I got to look it up. But she was like, yo, the agriculture field, how they say, oh, a lot of that, the Hispanics is holding it down when it comes to agriculture. She was like, it's only like 30% of them that are working, in the agriculture field. 30% consist of people from, immigrants. She was like, the other 70%, they're American people who are doing this work. So that is not true. It's not true that these people are over here wanting to do jobs that the American people don't want to do. What is true is that these people are willing to do these jobs for much lower wages. That is a completely different conversation. Melina Perez says unemployment rates falling doesn't mean those people found jobs. They could have lost their unemployment. They could have lost that unemployment. Ron C says in Australia, there is a set wage that the employer has to pay you. And if someone comes in to work for less, the Australian government would not allow that law. I like that. I like that. Clearly, that's not the case over here, but that's wonderful. And illegal immigrants, they've a lot of these jobs don't want to pay what they should because they know they can get the work from people who will require much less, i.e. the illegal immigrants. But that day is changing. It's changing. And that's a beautiful thing. And that's my primary reason as to why I voted for Trump, is because I felt like he needed to get this whole illegal immigration system under control. Because, child, it was just out of whack. It is out of whack. Mike says, we were all Trump haters as we were all, let me see, were all these Trump haters as critical as Biden while they watched the economy tank, lower and lower gas prices, groceries, and the interest rates. Mike, you know how, Mike, I always hear my mom, she always says that, like, where was these people? Like, she says that she loved this comment. She'll be like, where were they at when Biden was there taking the economy and the damn U.S. to the pits of hell? They were silent. They were silent. And back then, even I was a content creator still, but I've changed the type of content that I've done over the years. So I wasn't in the political sector. I really wasn't kind of in politics on that type of level. But I know what I know what you're saying. It was crickets. It was crickets. PC says together and work this land and hopefully have businesses and houses and land. CR says, I'm a redneck, so eggs are free at my house, but my friends say the price of eggs has gone down here in Florida. I don't know where y'all live. I live in Georgia, so I haven't heard people complain about the price of eggs in months. That was kind of something not long after President Trump kind of took office for the second term that he kind of got under control. I think he got that under control really before Easter, because y'all know at the White House, they like to do the really big Easter egg hunt and things. And he was like, no, not on my watch. We are not doing plastic Easter eggs. We using real eggs. So, he was motivated to get the egg prices down. So I haven't heard anybody talk about, that being a thing with crazy, ridiculous egg prices. I don't buy eggs in the store. We have someone that we know who has chickens and things like that. So we get our eggs directly, from someone who's able to just directly give us to us without going through the grocery stores. But listen, I don't think that's a thing. I don't think that's a thing anymore. John, thank you so much. Say you're pretty cool. I think you're cool too. Listen, we be having different views over here, but listen, y'all talk. I be learning. I don't claim to know everything, but I do want y'all to respectfully just let me know what you know, enlighten me. That's what it's about. Melina says, Tammy, that can mean those people lost unemployment. It doesn't mean they all found work. This stat always goes in waves. Thank you for that, Melina Paez. Melina Paez. Welcome, Melina. MC says, inflation was up in May. The economy lost 30,000 jobs and gross domestic product is down. Mike says, we just had 4 years of Biden, and now after only 6 months for Trump, the sky is falling. Yes, people are clutching their invisible pearls. Just say wins, like Mike, that part. Where was the peanut gallery when Biden was out here just doing whatever the hell that he called himself was doing that was not serving the country? That was not serving the country. Let's see. What else we got in here? CR said, exactly. If Trump's tariffs over the 4 years bring enough manufacturing back to matter, then that's a good thing. If it don't, then that sucks. We're 6 months in. Yeah, I'm all for this whole manufacturing. I started out, when I started covering the political content earlier this year, I was heavy in talks of manufacturing, like being in support of the manufacturing jobs. I personally found them to be more stable than a lot of these white collar jobs because, y'all, in droves, we were just hearing about these people losing these high paying white collar jobs left and right. Everybody on the food line, everybody gonna be in Section 8. And I got to thinking about how, like, back in like the 80s and things, when it was during the times where a lot of people had these manufacturing jobs, and you had homeowners and people able to put food on the table, and you waiting, hearing about just these mass job losses. I'm like, maybe there's something to that. Do we need more of those jobs back? Do we need more of those jobs back? That was back in the day where we wasn't heavy on like the outsourcing. We wasn't heavy on the outsourcing. Ruby Rose, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, thank you for not being a Democrat. No. No, I cannot. Listen, I have awakened. I grew up, you know how like a lot of people that look like me were raised to be Democrats. So a lot of us are Democrats because that is all like we know. That's what we're raised. But what they say, when you know better, you do better. I have learned, I have awakened. And so I'm someone who just don't subscribe to a party. I'm independent. I vote based on policies, and I just talk my talk based on how I see it, not going off of like one political party versus the next. I'm a free thinker, and y'all, this is what you get out of your girl over here. So if you're interested in content centered around that, then this is the place to be. Like, share, and subscribe. But back to these manufacturing jobs. I'm here for the manufacturing jobs. But I also understand that it's not an overnight process either for the manufacturing jobs to come. First of all, you're going to have to build them out. So we got to do that. But hey, when I think about the building of them out, that's jobs right there, because you got to build these buildings. So then you got to staff them up. So it's a process. It is a process. My thoughts is that probably by the time Trump is on the way out, these manufacturing jobs that Trump earlier when he got into office that he talked about that were to come, I covered them back then on the exact businesses and things that the companies that were to be coming, the car makes, like I covered all of that, y'all. So a lot of y'all are new. Most of the time, like a lot of my lives, it's like brand new people who are like just now finding me. Somehow it popped up in your algorithm. And it's like, where have you been all my life? I've been here. I finally popped up on your algorithm. So I've talked about a lot of things, and I'll go into detail. So I have talked about the specific companies that have signed up or who agreed to bring their businesses over here. A lot of it was rooted in them in the tariffs. Remember when Trump was like, yo, like if you bring your business over here, I'm not going to hit you with the 25% tariff. So they were like, bet. The Japanese was like, bet, you ain't said nothing but a word. So it's like, okay, but for everything to really pop off, start building, things like that, I really think it's going to take a couple of years before we really see those jobs in full effect. So let's just say going into maybe 2027, I would say those jobs will likely be here. And what I've talked about on here, for those of you, especially those who are just on their way out of maybe high school, early in their career, trying to figure out what to do, I strongly suggest getting a trade in something, HVAC, plumbing, things like that. I think that's, that's going to be your best deal. Going to college, getting a 4-year degree, that's not what they say is more than one way to skin a cat. That's not the only way to get to the money out here. If you're interested in getting debt, that's certainly going to be the quickest route to go. But if you're like, listen, Sheik, I just need to make some money, go ahead, invest in probably like one of these, like an apprenticeship or something like that. Maybe go to a 2-year college, trade school, things like that. There's programs. I know I've talked about it some months back that Trump talked about allocating some money towards apprenticeship type programs and things like that. I just strongly encourage you to do your research for wherever you are, to look into programs that are out there that will pay for you to get education or get a skill in some type of trade, because I personally think that those fields are far more stable than, let's say, these fields centered around white collar, especially with AI being here heavy. Somebody just said something about work. SJC says, Mike, what will it mean when field jobs pay $20 an hour? When field jobs pay $20 an hour. There was a guy, I've talked about it. He has a farm, and a lot of his workers were illegal immigrants, so they scattered. They went hiding because they got rounded up. They either got rounded up or they went into hiding. And they were like, well, hire American workers, pay the minimum wage. He was like, I can't afford that. If I paid my workers minimum wage, I will be out of a business in 1 year. 1 year. I cannot remember what state he was in. He was in like Iowa, Idaho, one of them states. And he was like, I can't afford minimum wage. I can't afford it. My thing is, if you cannot afford to pay a worker minimum wage, then entrepreneurship is not your calling. You need to go and clock in on somebody's clock if you cannot afford to pay someone minimum wage. Minimum wage, I think in Georgia, let's look up what minimum wage is. I believe it's like 7 something here in Georgia. Let's see, minimum wage by state. Minimum wage in Georgia is $7.25. Let me do minimum wage by state. If you can't pay somebody $7.25, baby. So let's see what we got here. Let's look here. We're looking at minimum wage, y'all. So this is what you need to be making at minimum. At minimum. And a lot of these illegal workers were making less than that. I done told y'all that farmer said, listen, I can't afford minimum wage. I'll be on Section 8 too, trying to get me a voucher for housing and in line for EBT if I pay my workers minimum wage. I ain't got it. I'm on my Tasha K. I was on my Tasha K before Tasha K was on her Tasha K. I ain't got it. I can't pay minimum wage. What's minimum wage, y'all? So y'all, let's get into it. Do you see your state on here? This is minimum wage. In 2025, several states will have minimum wages above the federal minimum of $7.25 per hour. California, for example, will have minimum wage of $16.50 per hour. Other states with higher minimum wages include Colorado at $14.81 and Connecticut at $16.35 and Delaware at $15. So states on the West Coast, Colorado, California, they have the higher minimum wage. Of course, these are states where the cost of living is higher, but still in any of these states, minimum wage still isn't enough to live off of, but they do have higher minimum wage here in these states. Let's see, Florida, $14 per hour as of September 30th, 2025. So Florida will be increasing their minimum wage. Not sure where they're at right now. Anyone in Florida, what is your minimum wage? Come September 30th, you're getting an increase. It's going to be $14. $14 an hour. Y'all remember Governor DeSantis signed a bill that's saying children who are at least 14 years old and older are able to work third shift. They're able to work overnight and guess what? Be off from work in time to go to school. Yes, Governor DeSantis. Remember, they was doing them illegal immigration roundup heavy. And the question was, who's going to do these jobs? Because Florida has like a large number of illegal immigrants. Governor Ron DeSantis said most of the people who enter into the U.S., their final stop, their destination is Miami. They're heading to Miami. They like Florida. They want to go to Florida. Welcome to Miami. I don't know if they done seen Men in Black, Bad Boys, whatever, but they like, yo, that's where I'm trying to be. So they getting up on out of there in droves. Hence, Alligator Alcatraz in Florida. They not playing. So governor like, yo, I got a solution for the workforce. Don't worry about it that, you know, these illegal immigrants are now creating these just mass availability of jobs. I got a solution for that. I'm going to sign a bill that will allow for children at the age of 14 to be able to work overnight if their parents are good with it. Because, you know, normally you have all these rules and things that say, hey, after this period of time, children got to go home and all that. Y'all know normally that'd be like something that's like state regulated and all of that. Governor Ron DeSantis was like, you know what? Bump that. At 14, if parent, mom, dad, guardian, if y'all good with your child, helping out, bringing in income, I'm good with it too. At age 14, if you're good with your child working third shift, maybe shelving, you know, putting stocking shelves, whatever. I don't even know if it's really make a difference really with what type of work it is really. I just know that he's like, yo, at 14, you're able to work that third shift and be off in time to be able to go to school, get your lesson. So that's Florida. September 30th, 2025, minimum wage will be $14 an hour in the state of Florida. Illinois, $15 an hour. Maryland, $15 an hour. Massachusetts, $15 an hour. Michigan, $12.48 per hour as of February 21st, 2025. Michigan, so it looks like they got an increase. They got an increase this year. Not sure what their unemployment rate was before. If you're from Michigan, let us know in the chat. What was Michigan's hourly rate? I said unemployment. I meant hourly rate. What was Michigan minimum wage rate prior to February 21st, 2025? Because listen, folks got an increase. Everybody got a raise. Minimum wage, folks got a raise. Minnesota, $11.13 per hour. Y'all, right now, all these states higher than Georgia. I done told y'all what Georgia's is. All these states higher than Georgia. Missouri, $13.75. Nebraska, $13.50. Let me see. New Jersey, $15.49. New York, $16.50 for New York City, Nassau, Suffolk, and Westchester counties, and $15.50 for the rest of the state. So I guess those parts of New York are more expensive because they make $1 more. What do you call that? Is that what you call upstate New York? $16.50. So they make $1 more than the rest of the state. New York City, Nassau, Suffolk, and Westchester counties, $16.50 an hour. DC, District of Columbia, $17.50. So hell, that's more than California. DC, $17.50, potentially increasing based on calculations on July 1st, 2025. So if y'all like, I need to raise this, listen, this ain't enough. DC, then listen, they paying $17.50. $17.50. DC, like, we got you. Come on over here to DC. $17.50. Let me see what y'all saying in this chat. Now, think about that. Wherever you live, can you live off of minimum wage? Melina Pius says, I don't see prices going down at all. Can y'all live off a minimum wage in your state? Let me know. Drop your state, rep your city. Where are you from? Are people buying houses based off of minimum wage? Matthew said Texas is $7.25. So they're with Georgia then, because I didn't see on here, it didn't reference in this list Texas or Georgia. Let me click on this link right here. Excuse me. Let's see if so let's see what this says. What is the federal minimum wage? So I guess the minimum federal is $7.25. So you saying Texas, like, listen, y'all getting a bare minimum. That's like what Georgia does. Y'all getting $7.25. The current federal minimum wage is $7.25 per hour. State with their own hourly wage requirements may exceed may exceed this rate, but employers specifically covered by Fair Labor Standards Act, FLSA, must adhere to the federal minimum wage. So basically, that list that I went through, those are people who are like, yo, we doing better than the federal minimum wage. Yo, what's crazy is that the federal minimum wage is $7.25, and it has no bearing on where. So they're like, whether you're in California or Georgia, minimum $7.25. What? To me, it would make sense that based off of the different regions, the states, the even federal, like the minimum is still should be an amount based off of the cost of living. Renee says $7.25 in Oklahoma too. So it seems like the vast majority of the states are just following the minimum federal guidelines. They're like, listen, y'all getting the bare bones, the bare minimum. But y'all, like, this is our government. Well, this is America. Like Donald Glover, that song, he said, this is America. Like, y'all, this is what you working for. Who buying a house this year? Anybody? Who buying a house? Who can afford? Who buying a house? Anybody in here, got plans to be buying a house, got their money together and feel like they can buy a house? Let me know. If you do not own a home, do you feel like it's possible for you to become a home owner? Listen, because I don't see how people are doing it today with, making these purchases. I don't see. I mean, I bought a house, a couple of times years ago, like before things were like what they are now, clearly. Like, who buying a house? Matthew says, next door to me, New Mexico is $12 an hour. New Mexico is even higher than the federal minimum wage. And it got to be cheaper to live in Mexico. If we talking about Georgia, it's $7.25 an hour. This is crazy. Ain't no way New Mexico should be paying more than minimum wage than Georgia, Texas. I know you lying, but this that type of stuff they be on in the U.S. But meanwhile, they talking about, listen, I'm going to need for you to pay this student loan debt back. On what, sir? You only paying me $7.25 an hour. On what? With my looks? Melina Pius says The Guardian did an expose that showed the prices are up because corporations can get away with it. Tammy says, talking about buying a bigger one. Okay. Reasonable says Vance is only around because Trump can't pick his own. Oh, my. So that's why he around. That is why he around. Let's see. Suburban Conan says markets dictate prices, supplement demand, but you can't be a functioning adult on a teenage wage. I like that. So true. Like, ain't no way. Like, okay, can we have it to where, okay, if you're a minor, this is your hourly wage, but then if you're an adult, then this is your minimum hourly wage? Like, does that sound logical to you all? It sounds logical to me. I don't feel like somebody who's like my kids. I have children. They're all teenage. They're able to work. I have a 20-year-old. He makes like $10 an hour working at a movie theater. I have a 17-year-old who just interviewed to work at like a Smoothie King, and I don't know what they pay. But minimum wage is $7.25. Like, ain't no way that some grown up, somebody mama or daddy should be able to work on the side of them and make the same hourly rate. Where the freak they do that at? That's crazy, yo. That's crazy. Crow says your pay is based on your value. Your pay is based on the value. Melina says the U.S. media, much of it has the same investors who have right-leaning views, even liberal outlets. There's a reason our news is the way it is, and that is on that. You spoke a word. Like, it is what it is. Like, that's why I'm like, y'all move around. Don't be stuck, only watch Fox or only watch CNN. Y'all move around. Y'all need to move around. Get tapped in, listen to them underground news, listen to the content creators who are not bought and paid for, who not rubbing shoulders with these politicians. Listen, y'all gotta be able to peep game. Listen to, as we talked about in here, pay attention to the messenger. We can't discount who the messenger is. We can't. Ruby Rose says, can we talk about the influencer who lives in mansions and drive expensive cars? I tell you, I'm in the wrong business. But here's the thing with that. It's just like, influencers, it's just, how long, a lot of this, when it comes to even content creation, influencer, like how long will any of this really last? Because think about it, when it came to TikTok, it wasn't that long ago. Isn't it still, we still operating on an extension with the TikTok with Trump? So I don't think it's smart to be building your business centered around TikTok, because y'all, that gets on a 30-day extension down there every month. So I don't know. I just feel like I'm a believer to not have all your ducks in one basket. Like, you just have your hands in different things. So if you are an influencer, I think you just need to make sure that you're using that money and starting up some other things, create other avenues to get to the money, and not just have your money coming from, like, say, YouTube, just Instagram, TikTok, because you don't know where any of these platforms are going to go away. Y'all seen these people earlier this year ready to end it all when the doggone TikTok, the lights went out for what, like 12 hours? Them people lost their freaking mind. It was only out for like a matter of hours, y'all. Them people was on suicide watch. Their whole business was wrapped up in their TikTok. So I'm like, yo, move around. Don't just say, okay, this is all that I do. Have, a few different ways to where you get to the money. How about that? Have a few ways to get to the money, because you just don't know. Stay vigilant. Stay tapped in. Hey, like, share, subscribe, follow me. I try to do my best with staying tapped in. I do rely on you all to come in here, talk your talk, share your experiences. I do not proclaim to know everything, but one thing I will do is talk my talk, give my opinion, let you know, how I feel about things. But I have known to be wrong, and I am not above kind of changing my mind, moving around, changing my thought process based on the information I receive. Like some of y'all like chic. It is not the norm to be locked up and having AC. Like you done got used to having AC at the crib. We don't have AC at the prisons. We ain't got AC at these jails. I ain't know that. I didn't know that. I thought that was one of those things, because even with just housing here in Georgia, like with like what I learned with like Section 8 housing, things like that, there's basics that are required. Heat is a requirement here. AC, I know heat is a requirement, but I'm not quite sure, if AC is actually a requirement, because sometimes some of the things you think should be required, it's not. It's not. So we just have to kind of deep dive, get to know our laws, see what's popping, and kind of go from there, because sometimes you think until you be like, damn, I guess I didn't know. So I do have those moments here, but that's why I like to tap in with you all, get into the comments and kind of hear what y'all got to say. And I thank y'all for tapping in with me. It's been another long live, but y'all know we be getting into some things over here. So I'm going to let y'all have the rest of your Saturday. Yeah, thank you all for tapping in with me. It's been another fun live. Listen, let's see. Let me look at this poll because I had this poll out here, y'all. I said, why will the Trump administration not release the Epstein files? We've had 991 people complete the poll. If you have not completed the poll, please do so. 50%. This is the highest percentage it's been at so far. What's up, Dr. J? 50% of the people say, listen, Trump name is all up in them papers. So I didn't already tell you, listen, I got the answer. Them papers, it ain't getting released because his name in the papers in bold at the top. That's why. So that's what 50% of the people who took the poll, that's how they feel. 36% of the people say, listen, the demos and the Republicans are named up in them documents, period. Everybody up in there. I personally think that. I fall into that. I think that is both. I always felt that way. Even when, when everybody was looking for the Biden administration to release the files, I just felt like it was a combination of both. And I still do. It's a combination of both, and it's just they just like we'd rather just let the people continue to wonder than to just confirm that we ain't ish. That the American politician, the celeb, we ain't ish. We are rather let y'all think we're not, for whatever your reasons is, but we don't want to co-sign and just provide the receipts that support that we ain't ish. I think that's why they don't want to release them paperwork. They're like, let's just let them continue to be right about us, about we ain't being ish, but we don't want to give the receipts to support why we ain't ish. You see what I'm saying? Let's just let them just, just wonder. But in all, the government, like, y'all right, we ain't ish, and y'all right. Y'all are so right. Then 14% of the people said, there is no list. There's nothing to see over here. Like the big content creator, Benny Boom, he ride hard with Trump. He like, y'all, listen, there's nothing to see. JD Vance, clearly is nothing to see. If JD Vance saying, listen, it ain't nothing to see, and he was the main one caping, talk about release the file. So if he's now saying, listen, there's nothing to see, then that means it's nothing to see. All right, then I hear what you're saying, Benny, but only about 14% of the people are believing that. So next, let me get into some more of these comments before I get off of here. 1,000 votes. We are at exactly, 1,000. It's still growing. Most people think Trump's name is in it, and that is not a good look. So anybody who's running for office in the future, I don't think you want to have Trump to be somebody to endorse you. He can silently write you a check, but I don't think that you want him on the stage campaigning for it. I don't think that's what you want. Not if you want to win. Not if you want to win. If you want to win, you don't want no parts of JD Vance. You don't want no parts of Pam Bondi, Donald J. Trump. That's just not what you want. That's not what you want. But on that note, y'all, it's been another awesome live. If you came in late, be a part of the replay game. Y'all, don't be afraid to come back. Drop a comment on my videos as I post them, because you guys are always so active in my lives, but no one ever comes back and drop a comment. So come back, drop a comment. I like to read the comments. I will respond to you. But we just keep the conversation going on. And as you learn information, let me know. Drop it in the comments once I post a video. Are you here for Alligator Alcatraz? Are you here for the release of the Epstein files? Are you like, it ain't no files, there's nothing to see? Trump done told you. How else he needs to say it? What other language he need to say it? There's nothing to see. So move around, skedaddle. Focus on these jobs that we now have as a result of the illegal immigration roundup. How about that? How about that? So on that note, thank you all so much. Continue to stay tapped in, stay vigilant, ask questions. As I say, smart people ask questions. We are the honor students over here. Anyone who subscribed to my channel, I affectionately refer to you as an honor student, because we are lifetime learners. We elevate, we ask questions. Thank you so much for joining. Peace, John. I hope you subscribe to the channel and hope to see you again. We are lifetime learners. We require people to elevate to our level. We do not go down to their level. We have an open mind. We're respectful. We listen to one another, and we just have dialogue. You see what we did? We have dialogue. I don't always agree with you. You don't agree with me, but guess what? We have a conversation, and sometimes I'll be like, you know what? You damn right, John. You right. I was tripping. I thought every damn body had AC. I didn't know that we got people in jail hot as damn hell. I thought everybody had AC. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? I thought everybody had AC out here. But what I'm learning is that chic, everybody ain't got that. Is a luxury, and everybody ain't washing their ass every day in jail. You lucky once a week if you can hit some water. I ain't know that, y'all. I'm not about that life. I am not about that life. Dr. J says Sheik's on the road to 5,000. Let's help her hit her goal. Get there. Thank you so much. Yes. Go 5,000 subscribers. Thank you so much, Dr. J. Dr. J, please do me a solid. Drop the link to your channel. Dr. J, another content creator. Listen, Dr. J do a variety of things, child. If you like that ASMR, whatever, where you just listen and you like, you know what? I don't want to hear nobody damn talk. I just want to listen to sound, watch somebody cut some meat up. If you like, listen, I didn't heard Sheik talk for 2.5 hours. Listen, I can't do it no more. Let me just listen to the sound of a damn electric knife cutting some meat. If you want to hear that, go ahead and follow her. Because sometimes you like, listen, I don't want to listen. I don't want to hear nothing nobody got to say. I'm tired. I'm tired. Follow Dr. J on her channel. She's growing. I was about to say road to 1,000, but child, she been hit the 1,000. So I don't know. I guess road to 2,000. How many subscribers do you have right now, Dr. J? It's growing every time I look. So definitely follow Dr. J over there if you're into the content where you just like, listen, I don't want nobody talking to me. I'm just trying to see something. I'm just trying to see something. So if you're just trying to see something, follow her over there. But if you want to continue to be in the know with what's going on in these political streets, continue to follow me on this channel. I have a second channel, Road to 2,000. That's awesome. CJ, what's up, CJ? You're beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here with me. So I have two channels. I have a second channel. My second channel is just Chic Speaks, and I just talk about just all other things outside of politics. Earlier, I did a live on the boxer, Gervonta Davis, who caught child a fourth charge on DV, putting hands and feet on the baby mama. Child, listen, it's hard out here in these streets, whether it's politics, the regular life of everyday people. It's hard out here. So I talk about all other things outside of politics on my other channel. So if you are interested in any of that and listening to what I have to say about just other things outside of politics going on, follow me over there. And that's just Chic Speaks. Over here right now, you're on my channel, Chic Speaks on It. You see, Chic Speaks and then Chic Speaks on It. So those are my two platforms. Make sure you are following me on both. But I appreciate you all. I thank you all so much for tapping in with me. It's been another great conversation with you all. And yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful evening. I like to say, go out into the world, show up in a way in which you want others to show up for you. Take care of yourselves and one another. Heavy on the taking care of yourself. So many of us are out here taking care of everybody, but neglecting ourselves. But we're not trying to do that. We need to take care of ourselves. Take care of your mental health, because everything kind of, it starts here. And when this breaks down, guess what else breaks down? Everything else breaks down. Just so you know, my background is clinical mental health counseling. So sometimes in my commentary, I will insert conversations centered around mental health. I have a master's degree in clinical mental health counseling. And it's a lot going on out here in these streets, and it is impacting the mentals of people every day. Like you, me, everybody. Nobody's exempt. As long as you got breath in your lungs, child, you feeling something, you dealing with something. You're dealing with something. So just be aware, when you're not feeling good, something ain't right, talk to some people, move around. That's what it's about. Seek out help, ask for help, accept help. So many people struggle with accepting help from people. So we're in the times that we need to be to receive help. It's okay. It is okay. It is okay. So you all enjoy the rest of your evening. I will catch you all on the next broadcast, and make sure you like the video on the way out and complete the survey. Peace.